we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the most, or 6 at the least, maybe 7 and 8 for the tours that we're going to look at today. If anybody has like specific questions about some of the different like objects that we're going to look at, I might have to like look them up. But we'll mostly just kind of be looking at these different exhibits. Some of them are full Egyptian museums or Near Eastern museums. Some of them are just small Egyptian collections in larger museums. I also am going to show you, the first one that I'm going to show you is actually an exhibit that is not on anymore. And actually, I will say, I don't know, the rest of them, I don't know. Does the MFA have one? Because I did not find one, but send me the link because we can do that one. Absolutely. Good night, Raven. Have a great rest of your night. Let me find it. I technically was only looking at like 360 tours. So if it's not... Well, so no, I know that it has mummies, but I'm looking for virtual 360 tours that I can find online. Does it have one of those? Because I don't think it does. I'm only looking at ones that have like a full 360 tour. And I was not able to find one. Yeah, okay. So these are all 360 tours of museums and of galleries. One of 100%. 100% I know one of them, the first one I'm going to show you, is not in existence anymore. I don't know how updated a lot of these other ones are. A lot of them are kind of old, so I don't know if like those museums have updated stuff. The one that I'm going to show you guys first, I absolutely know does not exist, and they tell you that it doesn't exist. Good to know, Ludo. And most of these are like, I will say, they're not all the best. It's just that somebody went through with a 360 and like did it. If we could, I know that people have filmed like them going through museums, and we could watch those. That will just be like a different stream because obviously there's like a lot of different stuff. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. There's just like a lot of more stuff when you watch a video, because I did actually find one like Sam Mayfair. If you don't know him, he's a really great Egyptology creator, and he has a 360 YouTube video where it's in 360 and you can move around, but it is a video, so we're not going to go through that because it's like really long. But the first one that we are going to look at is no, you're fine, Alex. Hey, if we're in the same country, I'm not that mad. So the first one that we're going to look at is the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. I will show you guys this page first. This is their website, and they have an entire thing of past exhibits, and these are 360 tours. They're not that detailed, but these are 360 tours of their past exhibits. And then they have, the next thing that we're going to look at is they have a 360 tour of the current building. So if you have any random like hyperfixations, check this out because they might have an exhibit about it. So like there's ones about the mines, Crossroads of Civilization, about Cyprus, Secrets of the Soil, Evolving Universe, Genome, Iceland, Dinosaurs, Mali, the Narwhal, National Geographic Into Africa, Best Photography, Orchids, Epidemics, that was up for a really long time, Queerest Jr., Sea Monsters, Western Culture, which is the one that we are going to look at first, and Wilderness. So like all of these are accessible online and you can see what they look like, and they are a full 360 tour. And this one is very, very nostalgic for me because this is the museum that I went to every single childhood field trip. And this is the funnest part, is that in one section, as we go through it, there's only a small section of Egypt, but we'll look at the whole entire thing. there is a whole thing. It said, if you had lived blank amount of years ago, they would show the average height of a man and average height of a woman. And when I was a very young child, I was taller than almost every single person. But this is like my childhood, the childhood museum that I went to, because back in the day, the Natural History Museum in the Smithsonian had an IMAX theater. And so we would do IMAX theater all the time for all of our field trips, pretty much. So the whole exhibit is called Western Cultures, and it goes through like a lot of different cultures, but this is the only place that up until I think it was like somewhere in the early 2010s, like 2011, 2012, when they made the new Egyptian collection. And that's what we'll look at next. But I wanted to show you guys like the difference between what they used to have and what they have now. So this, I believe this area is the bone room. I think, maybe not. Sorry, Act Tracker, sometimes I don't notice them and I need a way to remind myself, so I apologize. So this originally starts with more, oh no, wait, this is the beginning. Yeah, so this beginning and it goes that way. But it's the origins of Western culture, and it's just like you can barely read. It's not the best one because you can barely like read any of the stuff. But here we have tons of different stone tools as well as animal bones from lots of different animals. And obviously a diorama, which was very, very common in museums for a really long time, was to have dioramas, whether they are life-size or smaller. Nowadays, it's not the best. Not the best. So the next part is this. So you can sort of see, yeah, we came around this corner and it was from camp to village. And then we are kind of getting to, what is this? Ali Kosh, early farming, but where? Zagros Mountains? I don't even know. Again, these 3D tours are not going to be great because they're not going to be able to let me read everything. Oh, Southwest Iran, sorry. Zagros Mountains in Southwest Iran. So it's going over some Near Eastern cultures, going into all the different Fertile Crescent and all that such. But very sparse, almost has more dioramas than actual artifacts. These are people from 900 to 5000 BCE. So then you get to, I'm trying to figure out where we've come from. See, it also feels like the way that they did this is that they totally skipped other sections. Because also that looks Egyptian, which is interesting to me. I don't know if it's actually Egyptian, but it looks like a pre-dynastic Egyptian pottery. I cannot remember. But then like Meet the Iceman, and then they totally skip over it when you go to the next one, which is the Egyptian section. So we'll look over this, and I think it comes from this area. So you can see in the background, they're talking about Mesopotamia. I am Darius, the great king. They have spearheads, pottery from that era, and then we get into the Egyptian section. So the Egyptian section at the Smithsonian, and I will say I know a lot about this because I did a paper on not this exhibit, but the next exhibit that we're going to look at. Hi, AM. Welcome on in. the African ethnographic. I can't remember that one as much. The Egyptian one, I hate, but we'll talk about why I hate it when we look at it next. The African ethnographic, I'm blanking on remembering what that one looks like, but so the Egyptian items that are at the Smithsonian are completely and utterly kind of displaced across the Smithsonian museums. Yeah, we're going to talk, don't worry, we're going to talk about it because they have a virtual tour of those so that we're going to look at as well. The Egyptian items in the Smithsonian are spread upon a variety of museums. Technically, I think it's 4 museums. They are part of the collection of 4 different museums. But at the moment, they do not have any sort of Egyptologist on staff. The closest it seems that there are anthropologists. Like, there are archaeologists, but they are not nearly, like, I don't even know if they have, like, a Near Eastern archaeologist. But the last I checked, they do not have an Egyptologist on staff. And so the objects are displaced between 4 museums, one being the National Museum of Natural History, Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, which is where the vast majority are, or at least the vast majority of what we'll say are, quote unquote, exhibitable items, because the Freer Sackler has a very large collection of Egyptian things, and the vast majority of them are beads, are very, very small finds, things that typically are not put on display, and things like that. And so the other 2 museums that have objects is the Textile Museum, which I've never visited. I don't know. And I will say, I think most of the textiles in there are Coptic, are not Pharaonic ancient Egyptian. But I think they might have some Pharaonic Egyptian stuff. But the Textile Museum, I don't even know where it is. I've grown up near DC my entire life, so I know where all these museums are. I don't know where the Textile Museum is. I don't know even if it's visitable. Like, to be honest, I have absolutely no idea. And then the other one is they are in, I can't remember if they are technically in the Portrait Gallery collection or the American Art collection, which is where it gets complicated. So the Portrait Gallery and the Smithsonian American Art Museum are in the same building. They're split in half, but they are technically all in the exact same building. And the Egyptian items are in what is called the loose, what's it called? The Loose Conservation Gallery. And the Loose Gallery is a specific gallery. It is one of the most beautiful parts of that building, and it's my favorite place to take people because usually nobody can find it. It's up on the 4th floor, and then yet that room has 3 floors in it. It's like the craziest little weird building. But it is a viewable storage area that goes through art pieces by typology, by type. So there are 3 golden Egyptian masks, as well as several pieces of Egyptian glass, which are more typically Greek and Roman glass made in Egypt, but nonetheless. So those items are over there for some reason. I don't know why they are not in the Natural History Museum. Tracker, possibly, but also not possibly. Beads could easily have been looted from a burial or a tomb. So they can always be problematic. It's just, I think beads are something that's going to be extremely hard to track where they were taken from, because they're so small, and they're things that wouldn't, for the most part, they are things that wouldn't be recorded individually. They would be recorded by number, but they wouldn't be like they wouldn't be like a beautiful like stela or a statue where like it would be photographed and it would be drawn and it would be described heavily in an archaeological text. It would just say necklace of 24 glass like turquoise beads or something. So no, it's not. I feel like unfortunately everything's problematic. Frere Sackler is a very problematic. It's not a problematic museum. It's that the name is more problematic than anything. Sackler, the name Sackler has been removed from a lot. Actually, I technically think it even might be the Frere now. Sackler has been removed from a lot of things because the Sackler family in the United States are essentially responsible for a huge opioid epidemic, like very recently in comparison. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. We are looking at virtual tours of museums, Egyptian museums. Oh, welcome on in. So the Sackler name is pretty like disparaged now recently. But a lot of the pieces, the reason why there are pieces in that museum and they are not in like say the Natural History Museum is because the Frere and Sackler families individually collected those. Unfortunately, AM, this is as far as I can zoom. This is not the best 360 view, unfortunately. But I've zoomed as far as I can. If you are on Twitch, you can see a little bit better than on the TikTok live, but yeah, I've zoomed as much as I can. Yes, and Smithsonian also returned their Benin bronzes as well, and so there's a lot of different things that they've done to kind of return stuff. But what you'll see here is we have one coffin, seemingly no mummy. We have two big stela. This is a piece of a coffin, like a coffin lid. And there's also some cylinder seals, some wooden funerary objects. We have one mummy here, a cat mummy. I don't think that's an actual mummy. I think that is just a statue of a jackal, a canopic jar, and another very big coffin. There's some, oh yeah, these are some animal mummies as well. And turning around, you have two wooden statues here, it looks like. And then we have amulets and little tiny figurines that looks like there's some metal ones and some faience ones. And then many different faces of from either coffins or cartonnage, mostly. And then they have a lot of great like pictures in association. This is from the tomb of Ramosa. This image, it's actually quite small in real life, but they blew it up. These are mourning women and such. Not a taxidermied cat, Spooky. So let's go back. Where'd he go? Here he is. So animals were mummified for a variety of reasons. In some cases, they were mummified to be companions to those in the afterlife. Those are harder to necessarily prove because in the later periods of ancient Egypt, it became essentially a literal mini economy to purchase mummified animals to be able to donate them or bury them for ritual reasons, usually to dedicate it to a particular god. So the cats are typically for Bastet. Dogs are typically for Anubis or Wepwawet, even though they are not dogs, they are jackals. Jackals they were not as prolific. They were not in Egypt as much as dogs were, so dogs were used for that. Crocodiles to Sobek, falcons to Horus or Ra, ibises to Thoth. And so these aren't necessarily taxidermied cats, but these are cats that have been mummified. In a lot of cases, though, because it became like truly an economy of like the purchasing of cat mummies ritually to then be buried. Sometimes you'll see a cat mummy, and when you actually do an x-ray, it only has one bone of a cat. It's not a full mummified cat. And whether or not that is the businessman scamming you or a cheaper alternative than purchasing a full cat, that is unclear, but I think both options are entirely open. I would have to check up to check if it's from Asut, but I think you are probably, well, that's the other thing, is if we actually have the provenance for it to tell us that it's from Asut. But I think you are right. It is giving that vibe. This is definitely like a third intermediate period or late period coffin. This actually might be Ptolemaic. I'm not 100% sure. And that also looks at least new. This looks, third intermediate period is where they throw everything on a coffin and there's like literally no blank space. So you can usually tell very easily. This one, the only thing that is making me think it's closer to a Ptolemaic is the mask part up here. I'm not 100% sure, but and then over here it looks like these are other figurines or other architect, like I can't tell unfortunately what that is. And then there's some stela and some architectural elements. They have this ceiling which has all the blue stars and such. And then a picture of the Book of the Dead. I'm pretty sure this is the really famous one that's at the British Museum. But yeah, so this is what the Egyptian exhibit used to look like in this Natural History Museum. It's a relatively big space, but this entire exhibit is very much a path. It is not a room that you're kind of wandering through. It's very much a path. So the area in between here is not very large. There's also possibly another walkway on the other side, so there might actually be more Egyptian stuff on the other side. But it's not that wide of a space in this area, unfortunately. So it does make things very tight occasionally. We'll briefly look through the rest of this larger exhibit, but obviously like Egypt is just a very small part of this Western cultures exhibit. So yeah, so there's the Egypt part, and then this looks like it is potentially Near Eastern. Wish I could read that sign, but I can't. Oh, we've gone in a circle. I see. It's a circle. So that is where we entered, and you went through the Iceman to go see the stuff from the Near East, and then you go round Egypt, and then you come in this way. I see. I see. I don't think it's Roman. It looks Roman, but the picture in the background is not Rome. And actually, it's Western culture, so it can't be Roman. Roman would not be considered as the West. There is something about an Iceman, but it's not specifically Utsi. This says Southwestern Asia. Southwestern Asia. So yeah, so this is still like Iran, Iraq, Fertile Crescent kind of stuff. But yeah, in general, Washington, D.C. has very, very little, like, it has Egyptian stuff, but it has very, very little other ancient artifacts. There is really no museum. I have no idea. It's not included in this area. I guess. No. I'm gonna say no. Because it seems like they're only focusing on early Asian cultures, and if you're thinking of the United States, So yes and no. So Bones, it's not called the Smithsonian, it's called the Jeffersonian, but it is absolutely a play on words, and it is meant to be the Smithsonian. So they do a lot of references to the actual Smithsonian. The Smithsonian is the United States government sanctions museums. So they are all free, and they're almost all in Washington, D.C. There are two that are not in Washington, D.C. They're both in New York City. There is another American Indian Museum in New York City, and then there's something called the Cooper Hewitt Museum, and those are two Smithsonians that are outside of Washington, D.C. There's also the Udvar-Hazy Center, which is the secondary Air and Space Museum that is almost attached to Dulles Airport in Virginia. And then there is also, I forgot, the other one that's not in D.C. is, although no, Anacostia is in, there's an Anacostia Neighborhood Museum that is also part of the Smithsonian. So here's the thing, Ludo. There's no, DC doesn't have Greek and Roman stuff. Like, it genuinely doesn't. There's no museum in DC that has Greco-Roman stuff, like, truly. So it's like, I think the whole thing is that they're only using what they have. Like, they definitely have a couple other, like, I'm sure they have a couple items, but they do not have large collections of Greco-Roman stuff. And that, I think, is why they are not included in this. I definitely think Western cultures is a weird name for it. Am I back at the beginning? Like, I'm almost back at the beginning. Yeah, it's a circle. And you know where? I know exactly where this is in the museum now, because there is this area that is, they do it in a circle like this. Oh, wait a second. No, wait, here we go. This might include the Romans. I forgot about this part. Where the heck is this part? Okay, here we have Greco-Romans. Okay. But they don't got a lot. I know they don't have a lot of items. That's a Sphinx. What is this? I don't remember this part at all. Okay, so... here we go. So here's the Egyptian poster. So these are probably supposed to be Egyptians. And then this is definitely more Assyrians or Sumerians or something. So there's a few Greco-Roman items. But to be honest, after this exhibit is not in existence anymore. And so, like, these pieces are not on display, I don't think, at all. That's so great, Aya. I hope you have... Oh, here we go. Okay, so here we see the connection, is that you go around this way and towards the restrooms. And that gets you to where you are. Oh, we get a greater view of these. So we have a little stela here. We have some random bits and bobs and a cool ceiling piece. And what was these other things? Oh, yeah. I actually don't think these are Egyptian. This map is not Egypt. Yeah, this is the only shot of this room. So this is also just in general a very, very bad 360 because this is the only shot of this room. So I can't zoom in on literally anything in these corners. And even, do you know what this is? This looks empty. And that mosaic, is that the mosaic that you were talking about before? Hi, Activated Complex. So this museum, I don't believe has a lot of Nubian artifacts, but that's just, I've looked through their collections. They in general just don't have a lot. They have a lot of really small items. But let me show you guys, does anyone have any questions about this exhibit first? And then we can go and look at, whoa, okay. So yeah, I think I know exactly where this is. So we can go and look at what the Egyptian Museum looks like now. It might be AM. I'm not 100% sure. It could be from anywhere, really. A lot of places, a lot of tombs have the what's it called? Starfish star ceiling. It could, and the other thing is, unfortunately, it's very highly likely that a lot of the items in museums don't have what we call the provenance, so the exact location that we know where something was taken from. And unfortunately, a lot of museums don't have that. So while we can guess as much as we want, sometimes that information will never be discovered, which is really unfortunate. Okay, so let's go and see what the new Egyptian section of this museum looks like. So if anyone has never seen what the Smithsonian looks like, they have this little map up here in the corner. And this is, again, fully accessible online. You can always go and visit this. And it shows all of the different things. So we have Quirius is a like kids section that's all about like investigating and like learning. They literally have the cafe and the gift shop and stuff. And then the first floor, you have the whole huge dinosaur wing, which I'm not going to go through because this is a massive museum. But you have the mammal hall, you have the ocean hall, African voices is over in this section, human origins. This is also a very good exhibit, honestly, the origins exhibit. And then you go to the second floor and you have the gems and gemology. You have the butterfly room, you have the insect zoo, you have the bone room, the small little Egyptian gallery here, and then this is a special gallery, I think. Yeah, this green part is like a special gallery, so it kind of pops up. So this is our Egyptian gallery. You have the whatever this special gallery is, which this is apparently about cell phones, which if I go in here, it also might completely change. Oh, wow. Oh, see? This is a new and updated 360. Do you see how much better this one looks? But if I go back to this one, it's like really sad. So this is the bone room. This is why I hate this exhibit. And I literally did a whole paper about why I hate this exhibit. And I'll just briefly tell the story. So use the Nokia. So I grew up in this area. I've been to this museum several times. I had seen that previous exhibit. I completely forgot that there was Egyptians in that exhibit. And so I used to say, I live in the only major city of the United States that doesn't have a museum with any Egyptian objects in it. And I very much was like mad about that. My first year of grad school, the conference that every Egyptology student tries to go to was literally in my area. It was not in DC, but it was very close to DC. And so I was like, everyone's getting to come to my hometown. This is so nice. And so we all go out to the museums on some days, and we go to the Natural History Museum. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm sick of the Natural History Museum. I've been there so many different times. When the museums are free, you tend to go to them a lot, and you tend to get sick of them a lot. And so I had not been here in many, many years. And we walk up to this gallery, and I'm like, excuse me, there's an entire Egyptian gallery? And I was shooketh to the core. But when we were there, it was one of the busiest, I think it was spring break. It was one of the busiest times I've ever been to that museum. This area is a hallway. It's a hallway. It's in between this new gallery, the bone hall, and then we'll squiggle around the corner. And then behind this, you can't see, but there is a doorway that you see here goes into the insect room and then goes into the butterfly room, which is like a ticketed area because it's very small and stuff and all that. And whoa, not what I wanted. This is the insect room. Didn't want this. Get me out of here. So this is that the Egyptian gallery? Where am I? here's the Egyptian gallery. It's a hallway. This is a hallway. It's very small. It's very tiny. I think they definitely used the space the best they could, but it's not a great space. Especially because this is like, this part especially is a major passageway. So when I was there, it was so loud. People were so like kind of pushing through, and there wasn't a lot of space, and people were just like jam-packed in front of these cases. And these two cases, which unfortunately this one is covered, which it never used to be, so I'll have to fill you in with what was over there. These two cases have mummies. And so kids would run by, say, oh my God, look at the mummy, and then like run away. And it was really hard for me to see. So I don't like this exhibit. It's also has not been updated for at least 10 years, if not longer. And I think this is 2011, 2012, sometime in that. So we'll look at this case first because it's pretty small. And you guys will recognize some of the pieces because they were in the last exhibit. There are other pieces that are new that were either part of the collection or somewhere different. So we have facing the afterlife, mummy masks ensure the dead can be whole again. And so we have these four different, that's not four. Yeah, exactly. So we have a Fayum mummy portrait. We have a mummy, a mummy board, which is something that would sit on top of a mummy in a coffin. We have, this is the full like coffin mask. You have another coffin mask. And as you can see, the labels are really simple. They don't even bother telling provenance, where they're from, they only have when. That's pretty much all they have. This one has a little bit more, but all it says is painted in a Greek portrait style. This mask comes from the Fayum agricultural region where mixed Egyptian and Greek population lived for about 4 centuries. That's all it says. Absolutely. They're just filling space. Absolutely. And then it's just all about like the masks and stuff, which is okay. So trigger warning, mummy. So this is part of a 3-part series of mummies. They have 3 mummies that they put on display. I will admit, I know why they portray their mummies uncovered. I don't necessarily agree to it, but I understand the reasoning as to why they do it. But I don't really want them to be like that. The main reason is that all 3 of these exhibits, especially this one over here, which I'm really mad this one's covered. I can't show you guys. The reason these are uncovered is because, especially this exhibit, they're talking about investigating a mummy and what you can do to learn more about that person. So it's like x-raying the mummy and doing facial reconstruction and doing CTs and like doing all of these things. So I understand why they are like fully out there. They definitely were not unwrapped by like the current staff. These were always probably unwrapped, but I wish that they had a shroud over them. It's just a personal preference of mine, or they were in a more private area. I've told you guys this, I think, before. The best way that I have seen how human remains should be displayed, if they are going to be displayed, one, you need to have like an important reason to do so, and that's written like literally in your museum bylaws. The Petrie Museum of Egyptian Archaeology agreed that they would only display human remains if it is a what was the wording is really good, but I can't remember it. The Petrie Museum agreed that they would only display human remains if it portrayed a very unique and uncommon like burial technique. So all of their mummies, they have a lot of mummies. All of their mummies are not on display except for one, which is not a mummy, it's a full skeleton, because it's in a pot burial, which is super rare. Petrie with an E. Sir Flinders Petrie was a Egyptologist, a British Egyptologist, and so he has a museum the Petrie Museum of Egyptian Art, Egyptian Archaeology at the University College London in London, just a couple blocks from the British Museum. It's the best museum. I adore that museum. I volunteered there for a little bit when I studied abroad. It's the best museum. It's where I first got to touch Egyptian objects. Obsessed with the museum. But yeah, the only mummy they have on display is a skeleton that was in a pot burial, which is a very, very rare type of burial. And that is the only one they have on display. It's because of that law that they put in. The other thing is that the best place I've seen it was the National Museum of Archaeology in Ireland. There they have bog bodies. Very similar to mummification, just a different type of mummification process. And their bog bodies are in like a shell room. So it's a little tiny private room that's in the shape of a shell, sort of. So you go, when you're standing at the entrance of this little room, you cannot see the bog body. And there's a sign saying, there's a bog body this way, only go in if you are comfortable. And then you go in, and then you can kind of walk around it, and then you can leave out the same way. It's a very little private room. It's a way that it's not just on display for the whole room to see. And if you are uncomfortable with seeing human remains, you can skip it. You do not have to just randomly be triggered and see it. Baha, I also think that's an acceptable answer. I think I saw that at the National Museum of Archaeology in Florence. They hovered the lid of a coffin, maybe about this big, and you could see the mummy through it if you really like got down and looked, but that was it. Which I think is also a very acceptable answer. And then in other cases, the Egyptian Museum of the National, am I gonna get the name right? The National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Cairo. They have all the pharaoh's mummies downstairs in a separate room. Technically, they tell you no photos and no talking. Definitely was not happening. There were no guards to stop that. But all of their mummies are laying out on tables and have a shroud pretty much up to their neck. And so that is also like pretty acceptable to me. I have to drink water. So this is just makes me sad. It makes me sad, and he's not in good shape, like at all. I think I love his bed. Like the cushions are so like literally catered to him, but he makes me sad. He makes me sad. I really wish that he had a shroud covering. You can't see it, but his genitals are just straight out there, and you can see it, and it just makes me sad. And so they also, you can see they totally, I think, reused that sign from the previous exhibit to kind of put in the background here. But what they have is some canopic jars, canopic lids. A natron packet is pretty cool. It's a packet of the specific salt. They have this beautiful beaded like shroud, and then these images of the four sons of Horus, and then all these little amulets. And I like how they are displayed here because it's similar to an area at the Brooklyn Museum. The Brooklyn Museum has a similar thing that's laid out, and it shows where all the amulets would have been placed. Yeah, I don't like that sign either. This is a real mummy. I don't really like that either. He's a late mummy. He's almost a Ptolemaic mummy. There's also a little thing of hair extensions, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so it kind of does the steps. So it's like remove the brain and organs, dry the body, wrap the body, add magical charms, lay the mummy in a coffin. But to be honest, these signs, like how to make a mummy, are so small in comparison. It's like impossible to kind of see them as you kind of go, like to actually track that that's the theme of this exhibit. The steps should be down here, honestly. I do like this. It has all of the different amulets, which is something that very frequently doesn't get talked about a lot, which is kind of cool. So that's 2 parts of it. Oh, and then of course, literally the camera can't stand right in front of this exhibit. So this one's again about death and stuff and about the things that would be in the mummy's tomb. This is the mummy that we saw earlier. You got another section of canopic jars. You have that ceiling tile. We see the stela. A lot of these things are repeat. The shopties seem to be new. Oops, sorry. I need to figure out a way to Thanks, Act Tracker. I need to figure out a way that I can remember to stop talking with ads. I was really good at it, but then I think I moved the chat and now I'm like messing up. So yeah, so this section is about all the things that you sort of take with you for mummification. So there's that mummy that we see again. Unclear if this is the lid for this mummy. I don't think it is. But we got 4 canopic jars in the back. Lots of shopties, including this really beautiful shopty coffin for like the little miniature shopty, which is cool. We have the ceiling tile, the stela, which is really nice. These 2, it's hard to see, but these are offering trays and also a shopty box is what's here in the corner. A little doll. It's called a paddle doll. It's probably has some ritualistic aspect, but it is sort of a doll. Yeah, sometimes shopties get coffins, and it's only sometimes, but sometimes shopties get coffins, and sometimes they just are all put in like one box or like one shrine. And then sometimes if you have so many shopties, your shopty needs an overseer shopty. So a shopty is you can also pronounce it U-shopty. Some people use, that's kind of an archaic term, but people still use it sometimes interchangeably, a U-shopty. A shopty is essentially a small figurine. These are particularly nice ones in like the older times. They literally just look like a log. They are meant to represent a servant that is going to help you in the afterlife. So each one of them has a text on the front that essentially says, I will activate when you go to the, oh no, Kepper, I'm so sorry. That's so sad. The shopties have a spell that's saying, I will do your bidding in the afterlife. And they are they're not a full replacement, but they are semi a replacement for the very, 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 very early practice of ritual sacrifice of the servants that would actually get placed in the tomb with you, which was only done in a very short period in the early dynastic period. So very, very long time ago. But shopties were essentially the ancient Egyptian view of the afterlife was a world that is just like real life, but you have to work, you have to eat, you have to clean, you have to have fun, you have to do all of those things. And so the wealthier you are, the more shopties you could have, so you could relax more in the afterlife. Or in the same way, is if you had a life of leisure and you did not do a lot of work, you would get a lot of shopties so that you can continue to not do a lot of work in the afterlife. But some shopties had little coffins, and then some of them, if you had so many shopties, you would have a specific overseer shopty it would be designed slightly differently. These all look like normal shopties. I don't know. Overseer shopties are semi-rare. But they can be made out of a lot of different materials. This one is faience. These ones look like wood. And these look like stone. So you got also lots of jewelry and amulets. This is actually a ceremonial flail, which you see the pharaoh holding a lot, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, and this has a little model bed. Try the new taste of summer. Oh, I didn't realize there are pictures. only like 4. All right. Looking at it just from this angle, just so you can see. So here's the Shakti boxes. And then there's also some pieces of pottery and stuff in this case. So this case, I'm so surprised. I could have sworn. So this had another mummy in it that was also unwrapped. I should be able to read it here. When the mummy came to the museum, it was partially unwrapped and very little was known about its history or the individual inside. Using 2D and 3D scans, museum scientists found that the brain and major organs were removed and rolls of linen filled out the abdominal cavity. This evidence of superior mummification indicates the deceased belongs to the upper class. The crossed arms were consistent with mummification practices beginning around 500 BCE. And so they have some scans here of the mummy that is not on display anymore. Shows the mummy's skull, spine, ribs, pelvis, and upper leg bones. A few signs of arthritis clue that the deceased never took on heavy manual labor. That is okay, Kepper. I just need to. I just need to remember when ads are coming in. I have them on like the lowest setting because I don't like them and I don't get a lot of money from them anyway. So. But with the organs removed, embalmers slid 4 bundles of linen into the abdomen to recreate its natural shape, and you can see them outlined in black on the 3D scan. So yeah, so this had another mummy in it, but it's not open. I might try to do that. If you have any ideas, Silver, how to do that. The other thing is I also know, I'm trying to think of what streamers, yeah, I might hit you up with it because I've been noticing I haven't been noticing it at all. What streamer did that? She was one of the streamer friends that I follow. I use Stream Elements bot. I'm trying to think of what it was. One of the streamers I use, she does like one 5-minute ad or something like every 2 hours, and she like does a mini break while she does it. So I was considering doing that when I saw her do that, because I thought that would be better than just these 30-second ads if like we had one ad every 2 hours or something. But I gotta look into it a little bit more. So this is the one that always makes me the most sad in this exhibit. But I do understand like why they have him on display. So this is a child's mummy. He's very small. He's a little boy. Yeah, Silver, I'm gonna hit you up because I just need a different opinion of some of the stuff. So you can see him going through the CT scan, and this is kind of talking about like, how do we figure out, how do we date this mummy? How do we learn a little bit more about it via science? And like, I understand why they have it on display like this, because that's just, this is a natural history museum. They don't really have a lot of like culture, like some natural history museums do, but not a lot have stuff about like more anthropology, or anthropology they sort of do, archaeology and history they don't have as much of. So I understand like where they're coming from with this, but he's just so sad. He's just so sad looking to look at. But yeah, so they can see that they measure the bone, and good to know, Kepper. No, don't quote me. So based on the measure of his long bone, he's around 3.5 years. Thank you so much, John Baptiste. We're looking at virtual tours of museums, and so we're looking at the Smithsonian Museum today. So then they also look at his teeth as well to figure out when all of the baby teeth erupt, to try to get a better timing for his I think that's who I was thinking of. I thought it was Little Pumpkin, but I think I am thinking of Kaylee. Kaylee does like a big ad break. I gotta copy what she does because I think I liked that, what she did. Thank you for reminding me of that, Roxy. I wasn't sure if it was, I couldn't think of who it was, but I think you're right. I think it is Kaylee who I'm thinking about. And you could see a little reconstruction of probably what he looked like via all his different CT images and so this, you can see like they're also showing the difference. So like in 1992 they had a plain X-ray, in 1999 they had a 2D CT, and then in 2011 they had a 3D CT. So like I do have SiriBot as well. I just don't use it for a lot of different things. Maybe that's another, because I do have SiriBot. So yeah, I'm sad this is not open. I thought it was before. SiriBot should be. Oh, there it is. Oh my god, look at all the little hearts. So yeah, so that is the difficult section of this. I wish the mummies were in the section that we're gonna talk about. But no audio alert. Okay. So then you turn the corner and yes, that is true. I need a message to remind me. So I just wish that the mummies were in this section. That's like the biggest takeaway of this, is that I wish the mummies were in this section because it is a little secluded. It is not that in that like hallway aspect, but I wish it was around here. So there is a sign now. This is like an old 3D scan, but there is a sign in this section now because otherwise it looks very blank. This is a really great mini exhibit. So this is the coffin of, I'm never going to be able to read that, of her name. But what they do is they actually break down all of the different images that you see on her coffin, which is really, really awesome. And like nobody does that. Like very, very rarely in exhibits are they going to break down something like this. And this is one of those third intermediate coffins where they just throw a shit ton of stuff onto that coffin. But you can see like each side of this panel breaks down all of the different things inside this coffin, which I think is really, really cool and awesome that they do. This is the best thing in this entire exhibit because this is the mummy of a bull. And I have never seen this before. I have never seen this since, actually. I don't think I've literally ever seen a mummy of a bull in a museum. I was shocked. I turned this corner and I was like, where the hell have you been? Alex's security. So this is a mummified bull. And you can see he's got some probably limestone or maybe, I don't even know, glass eyes and some fake ears. But this is a mummified divine bull. You can look at the x-ray. The x-ray is hysterical because you would think that he would be like an Egyptian mummy would be mummified all with his bones and like in the normal spaces. This is just an absolute like clusterfuck of bones. You're right. They do look like googly eyes. But like, it's just a jumble of bones. And so completely unclear if this is all from one bull or multiple bulls. It says some scholars suggest the priests or the king ate the meat to partake of the god's powers. And this is probably like an Apis bull. This is like in the later part of ancient Egyptian history. These were bulls that were very ritualistic, seen as literally a god, raised like a god, and then sacrificed yearly. And so there's a huge temple called the Serapeum in Saqqara, and that is where all of these Apis bulls were buried. It's unclear if this is where this bull came from, but it's honestly highly likely. Yeah, so this section goes on for just a little bit, and it's just like it's just a shape. It doesn't look like an actual body, and all of these bones are just like piled in there. And to be honest, I think there might it's just a pile of bones with a skull. I don't even think the bones are attached to the skull. I can't read that, but that looks like a picture of the Serapeum. But yeah, this blew my mind. I was like, I'm sorry, why does the Smithsonian have a bull? I have no idea how and why. And so then there's more animal mummies, and they have quite a few. Snake, which is pretty rare. Snake votive. You have a crocodile. You have baby crocodiles. You have falcons, and then one big falcon. Some sort of bird of prey. You have a cat, a cat, a cat, a cat, and a cat. Look how tall this cat is. And then a little stela. And then this is a picture. This is a common picture you'll find at a lot of different places. It's a map of where all of the different animal graveyards are. And specifically, these are animal graveyards for these ritual animals, not really meant to be like a graveyard of pets. And you can see they're all labeled by type of animal. So there's some goat ones up here. There's a baboon and a donkey one, a cat one, a falcon one. That looks like a shrew, maybe. This one here in Saqqara, you have lion, falcon, baboon, scarab, dog, bull, cat, ibis, snake, and like either shrew or it's an Egyptian mongoose, which has that weird name. An ikion, that's what they're called. There's like even some lizards, fish. There's elephant. It's in Hieroglyphs apparently. Yeah, there's like absolutely tons. So these are all of the different things, and you can see here the X-ray of the cat. This looks like a full cat, and that looks like a full bird. But oh yeah, so this is a bundle of a snake with a shrew inside of it. Oh yeah, here are more. I was gonna say, I thought there were more. So yeah, so then you have the ibis birds, and sometimes they're put in pots like this, and then sometimes they're literally put into these statues and stuff. What about this? This is another ibis. This is another cat. You got a baboon, and then an Anubis statue. So they don't have a dog one, and they don't have a dog mummy, but they do have quite a few animal mummies. And this is more than were in the previous exhibit. This is quite a large section. And then the last exhibit is just this little case over here, which is about looking like it's more about language. And it has some funerary cones, it has some amulets, some little statuary. It has that piece of that coffin, and it has this bigger piece of a coffin as well. And it's just like how they are preparing for death. Any questions? Because otherwise we're gonna move on. Oh, the last thing that's really cool is these signs. So because the next room over is all of the animals, they have these 4 signs that talk about 4 different animals or 4 different insects that are in ancient Egypt. So you have bees, scorpions, locusts, and scarab beetles, which I think is really cool and a really great way of connecting to absolutely completely different sections of the museum, which I think is really nice. And this is why I've been wanting to do a lecture with science, because I want to talk about these bugs. The type of animal depends on what god you are trying to appease. So it does, they were buried in certain places. But most of these mummies most of these animal mummies are being created like later, like the very late period and such in Egypt, late period and then Greco-Roman period. But most of these are like, you want to appease Thoth, you want to appease Bastet, you want to appease Sobek. It could depend if you like live in that local area near like where the massive temple of Sobek is, you are going to sacrifice a baby crocodile. Or you're going to go to somebody to purchase the mummy of a crocodile that's already probably been sacrificed, because a lot of these animals would probably be bred to be sacrificed. Like literally, like they would have sort of areas where they would be breeding and holding a lot of these. Because like a lot of the like there are full huge ass crocodile mummies, but these are like freshly baby little crocodiles. That somebody, obviously they hatched from an egg and they were killed and made into a mummy, pretty much. But yeah, any last questions? I'm now feeling like we're gonna have to do two streams of this. We are still on the current exhibit at the Smithsonian, but we are just about to move on. So the weird thing, Spooky, is that like essentially you would purchase this animal mummy and then you would go bury it in a graveyard with all of the other animal mummies. It's almost essentially like, I'm trying to think of like a weird comparison. It's like purchasing a lock to go on one of those lock bridges. You are purposely buying something to leave it somewhere else. And so it's hard to tell who is buying these, because with the lock example, you're going to look at that lock and you're going to see Jason and Sarah together forever. And it's impossible to see who are Jason and Sarah. Are they super, super rich or are they super, super poor? We're never going to know. Sometimes they are found in tombs, but yes, the vast majority of these animal mummies are going to be in like huge... You did not miss it. We're going to do that, not next, but we're going to do that soon. And we are touring the museums. You came back on the perfect day. Yeah, so it's these massive tombs, essentially, that would just be full of these items, full of these cat mummies, just like constantly. But yes, sometimes you would get like one or two, like occasionally, like in the museum, like it would just be, or sorry, in the tomb. It would just be in your tomb. The other option for animal mummies that are not typically these are things that we call victual mummies. And a victual mummy is a mummy of a cooked meat that is meant for you to eat in the afterlife. So you can have an ibis mummy that is meant to represent like a ritual offering to Thoth, or you can cook a duck like you normally would and then mummify it and put it in a tomb. And that is when you move on to the afterlife, you will now have a cooked duck that you can eat. So there's like it's essentially there are three types of animal mummies. You have the victual animal mummies, you have these ritual animal mummies, and then very, very rarely you have these quote unquote pets or personal animals, which are harder to determine, but sometimes there is some sort of extra evidence that tells you this might be more of a personal animal. There's nothing really ritual or religious about this animal, but it's really hard to kind of focus on. There are millions of these animal mummies. I'm telling you right now, there are literally millions. Cats are the most popular, which is probably one of the big reasons why people think that like the ancient Egyptians worshipped cats a lot. Even though this practice was only done like very late in it. I've never seen Pet Cemetery, but I know the vague reference that it is kind of that. Bacon, egg, and cheese, yes, please. Would love that. But yeah. Any last questions about Smithsonian animal mummies? I'm trying to open my corners. There we go. I don't watch scary movies, but I vaguely know the reference. I know it's a pet cemetery, and it's evil or something. I know enough. Okay. Okay. Fair warning. The rest of the ones that we are going to look at, I have never been to any of them. So I'm not going to have as much insight. I'm going to be reading a little bit more, if we can read it. I don't want to know more. Okay. So all the next museums are museums I've never been to before. I started with the one that I knew because I knew I could tell you guys about it, because I also wrote a paper about why this exhibit is bad. So, the next one we're going to look at is, the Liverpool. Yeah, the National Museums in Liverpool. I have absolutely no idea how big this is. I just found this one this morning. But I also don't even know how recent this is. I'm just going to briefly look at this. Oh, wow. What an amazingly large space. How lovely. I really need to go here. So it looks like we have people of Egypt, the River Nile, a timeline room. We got scarabs, we got linen, gods, shopties, collectors, the mummy room, as always, an afterlight room, African kingdoms, Valley of the Kings, and pharaohs. Control. Okay, there we go. This is cool. This is nice. All right. So let's start at the entrance then. So this, if anybody knows anything about this exhibit, or about this museum, this might be a temporary exhibit. This might be the real, I think Liverpool has, but I don't remember. Oh, that would not be good in Egypt. Beatles collection, possibly. Actual Beatles. So, it looks like we have, oh, that's such a lovely little entrance. And look, it says, it has the ancient Egyptian word for welcome and may you journey well. Good night, Baha. Have a very good rest of your night. What a lovely little entrance. Oh, this is when you know it's in England, is when all the doors have blue dots on them. So here we have our timeline. Look at this timeline, baby. Oh, they have little inset, little cases. Ooh, very cool. I love it. Oh, and there used to be a touch thing on this. I know, fire exit, keep shut. I know, I lived in England for 6 months, and there's certain things that just like, when you see it, you're like, I'm in England, I know this. So we have pre-dynastic period. Wow, you can get really close. This is a good virtual tour. Ah! So you got blacktop ware, you got knives, you got a fish palette, some necklaces, those look really nice. Oh, you got a mace head, and some, oh, a little shem bowl, which is cool. So you, oh yeah, they're talking about the first decorated tomb, bread and beer, first hieroglyphs. I love this map. I'm obsessed with that. That's awesome. You got early dynastic period. I love the kids stuff. Look how low it is. Oh, I love this. This is a great exhibit. Early dynastic period. And it even has a thing where you can touch the cartouche. Qu'est-ce que c'est that? I don't like how there's not really any... I want to know what that object is. That's kind of annoying that there's no, like... I want a little sign saying where that object comes from. Oh, we got the picture of the Hyksos people. And tomb models. Whoa. Never mind. We got Tutankhamun. Got some necklaces, some amulets. Something that the kids can touch. Oh, the first recorded strike in history. Yeah, it's got some really cool things here on the timeline. Oh, look, a cat mummy. Told you guys. And then last native pharaoh. Good. This is looking very sweet. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's not really Egyptian at all, but it's obviously like Greco-Roman or something, but that's beautiful. Oh look, it's the dog tags. I love these. These are little labels that are tied. They're like almost essentially toe tags that were labeled to mummies because you'd have to send essentially a body to go get mummified at maybe the town over or something, and they would label them with these little wooden tags. And frequently they're labeled as like they have dogs on the back of them, but it's obviously Anubis. It's not a dog, it's a jackal. Oh, and it even has the last hieroglyphs. Amazing. And it keeps on going. Very cool. Very cool. I like it. It also has these red marks, which is like what's going on in the rest of the world. It picked some really big highlighted events. And then we got the big map with a lot of cities. This is great. This looks awesome. Where should we go? Oh, there's a whole... Is this a video? No, I don't think it's a video. We'll go wherever it tells me to go. Okay, so they're talking about scarabs, heart scarabs, inscription of the heart scarab of Ramosa. That's cool. Whoop, I gotta zoom back. Talking about linen. It's interesting, but there's no artifacts. Modern Egyptian is Arabic. So Egyptian Arabic, I have heard, is a little bit different than ancient, or than other Arabic languages. Sorry, I want to go on this side of it. Oh, here's the scarabs. I was like, weirdly, why would you talk about scarabs and not show any scarabs? Look how many goddamn scarabs are in this case. Oh, it's so cute. Thank you. That's so adorable. Oh, it's from Beni Hassan. I love Beni Hassan. Oh my God. I love Beni Hassan. That's so cute. Thank you for sending that. Boop. Look at all these scarabs. Like literally so gosh dang. Oh, there's some rings. So gosh dang many. But look at all the chunky ones. These are the big ones. Those are the ones that have like full sentences and such on them. What's on? So this is all about gods. Ooh, what an interesting to wear it. What an interesting stone. Egyptians didn't really use that stone that much. Oh, it's from the late period, that's why. Oh my God, look how cute this is. We love kids' interactive stuff. And it's literally build your own god. How cute is that? I need to zoom out. So that talks about Taweret. And then here we have the Shopties. Little servant statues. We'll go back this way. More Shopties. Okay, they have a little video. Listen to Ramses talk about his life as a pharaoh, his glorious deeds in the Battle of Kadesh, and his marriage to the daughter of the Hittite king. Interesting. Okay. I'm just jealous. I don't like Ramses the Great. Tomb Raiders. Oh, interesting. So this is a text somewhere. The following extracts come from the confession of one of the 5 thieves who robbed the tomb of King Ramses VI. The necropolis workmen were killed so that he would not give us away. The thieves could be easily betrayed by their gang members. Some did not hesitate to murder one of their own to avoid being caught. We found 35 kilts, shawls, headcloths, and garments of fine linen that they stole from the tomb. Papyrus Meyer B. Only surviving court record mentioning the robbery of a royal tomb in the Valley of the Kings. But this is not... it's interesting because this piece, I don't think that papyrus is in Liverpool. So it's interesting that they would like focus on something that is not necessarily in their museum. Oh. Museum ghosts. On the night of the 3rd of May 1941, more than 3,000 Egyptian objects were destroyed. Whoa. Statues, coffins, and mummies were reduced to debris. Miraculously, our records survive and contain images of these lost treasures. We still use these records to study ancient Egypt today. Over the following 40 years, the collection increased in the size with 10,000 new acquisitions. It was not until 1976 that the Egyptian gallery reappeared at the World Museum. Oh my god, a vase with the cartouche of King Khufu? So this is because of the war? I was gonna say, look at this picture. This picture is crazy. So that's what the Grand Hall looked like. The museum once had a grand hall lined with marble arches. Here was one of Britain's finest Egyptian collections displayed in absolute splendor. In just a few hours, this was all gone. A highly explosive bomb landed on the roof of the adjoining central library, and a fire began to take hold of the building. It spread to World Museum, getting it from top to bottom. As an important port city, Liverpool was a prime target for the German bombing raids known as the Blitz. When war was declared in 1939, museum staff began preparing for disaster. Hundreds of objects were sent away for safekeeping in country houses and churches across North Wales and Cheshire. Some objects that remain inside the museum survived the fire, such as the Egyptian pottery coffin lid that you see in this display case. A handful of artifacts, such as the Ramesses girdle, were moved to the vault of Martin's Bank, along with 280 tons of gold from the Bank of England. Museum staff in May 1941 searching the bombed galleries for objects that may have survived the disaster. Wow, I had no idea. This picture is remarkable. Wow, I had no idea. I didn't know that this museum was bombed. All right, let's keep on going. So let's talk about the Nile River. Oh, interesting. So we got a little model of a boat. Oh, ad starts in 40 seconds. Okay, I'm listening and focusing. A model of a granary from Beni Hassan. Ah, it's a little slaughterhouse. It's a little model of a slaughterhouse and it's baking, brewery, a bakery, a brewery, and a slaughterhouse. Oh, bread! Look, guys, it's bread. Ancient Egyptian bread. It's so crispy. All right, that's gonna start in 4 seconds. Is the ad actually going? See, this is the problem. It's not telling me if the ad is going or not. It said it was going to start in like 4 seconds. Yes, I know. I've been to the Berlin Museum. They have a small exhibit about that too. It said there was an ad, but it doesn't look like there's an ad. But somebody tell me if there is an ad, and I won't keep going. There's the ad. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm just checking something real quickly. Okay. Looks like we have a wine jar in the back, but we have all these different fruits. So a bag of Persea fruits. A basket of Persea fruits is right there. Number 2 are some grapes. 4 are some dates. We have a Dom palm nut. We have some pomegranates. We have some figs. How cool is that? Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things that should be talked about more. Because I don't know if fossilized is the right word, but they are dried, and potentially they are literally mummified. They are literally dried to a point that, like, mummification, like, they could have essentially been salted and dried in a mummification way, or they could have literally just dried out in a tomb. I'm gonna be very honest, I don't know what the technical definition of fossilization is. Like, I don't know how that differs from mummification. I feel like, isn't fossilization like in rock? I don't know what the technical term is, but I feel like that might be yeah. I don't think it's that, because these were found like in a tomb. Yeah, okay, so they're not turned to stone. Okay, that's what I thought it meant. But yeah, these are essentially, they either were purposely dried before they were placed in the tomb and thus are still very, very dry, or because of the nature of the tomb, it was so dry inside that they naturally mummified. But that's really cool. You can't see it, but that piece is it says it's an image of a baboon stealing figs, which is pretty funny. Little fish, cosmetic dish, beautiful dish. This interesting plaque of the god Happy. Probably. But this isn't paleontologizing. This is MelissainDeNile-ing. Look at the shoes and the linen. So cute. Oh, it's a little weaving workshop. I love these models so much. Models are like some of my favorite things because they just like, they show it so honestly, like what is actually going on, like in like daily life in Egypt. All right, I promise I didn't skip you. So, am I gonna have a sign for this though? Okay, it's here. So I'm assuming this is a pre-dynastic burial. This might be real skeleton. So this is a reconstruction of an adult female burial in Nubia, excavated in 1906. Grave of a woman from about 5,200 years ago, just before the introduction of writing. There's food and drink. An an ivory model of a boat and a jar painted with low hills and ripples of water. So you can see the picture here, and it also says bracelets made from oyster shell were found on both arms of the skeleton of this woman. In other graves, Garstang found larger bracelets made from ivory. So she's got a little ivory boat, some pottery, and some food, and some bracelets, which is pretty cool. There's something crunchy in my hair. Oh, there you go. I got it. And then what's all this over here? Painted jar with snakes, scorpions, and crocodiles. We have a little, oh my god, that scarab is so tiny. Scarab with a crocodile. Sorry guys. So loud. And a crocodile figurine. Wooden figure of Taweret. Ooh, we got a clapper. A clapper is usually made out of like a hippo tusk or an elephant tusk, and you clap them. It's an instrument technically. Very ritualized. Sometimes competitors and sometimes friends. But sometimes foe, sometimes friends. And sometimes rulers of Egypt. 26th dynasty. The Nubians ruled Egypt. You got Isis and Horus. You got a big throw stick. Wow, I've never seen one of those before. And a model of 4 tied up little birds. Cosmetic dish in the shape of a tied up ibex. I am going to just say I believe that is literally a boomerang. Yeah, with wooden throw sticks. Spears, nets, traps, and throw sticks were used to catch fish, birds, and other wild animals. Weapons and models of birds like these were buried with people so that they could enjoy hunting in the afterlife too. So yeah, it's literally a boomerang. It's a Egyptian boomerang, and you would throw it at birds and apparently at fish, which seems wild. Oh, and look, a little dish with horses. That's nice. Dear Medina, New Kingdom. That makes sense. I love the visuals. They have some beautiful visuals in here. All right, let's... Oh, wait. I want to check that out. So there's a lentil, like the doorway. Looks like Old Kingdom. I think it's probably talked about here. Oh, I've been in that tomb! Did I go in that tomb? I think I went in that tomb. Ptah Shepsh says, High Priest of the god Ptah built a tomb in Saqqara. I think I went in that tomb. This doesn't look like that tomb. That looks like Meketra. I gotta look that up later. I can't remember. Maybe I did go in that tomb. Is this an object or a picture of an object? I think it's just a picture. Alright, so this is now the people of Egypt. So we got sacred places. So we got an offering stela. This looks like Old Kingdom. Yep. Ni-Ankh-Tet. We got a big old dish. A limestone banquet plate. That's the biggest dish I've ever seen. Egyptian fire extinguishers. Everyone always says that when we went through the virtual tours of tombs, because there's always a fire extinguisher sitting in the corner of a tomb. And people always make fun of it when we look through the virtual tours of tombs. We got miniature object from... Oh, Casa Kemwe! No way! Casa Kemwe is pretty big ass. 270 miniature everyday objects made out of thin copper sheets in the tomb of King Casa Kemwe. Models of harpoons, axes, chisels, needles, and a dish were found crushed beneath a wall. Huh. Casa Kemwe's fucking old. It's like one of the oldest pharaohs. Bone arrowheads and a bronze statue of Osiris. A nice little offering stela. An offering that the king gave. And Osiris, lord of the life, his two lands. Can't remember if that's what his epithet is. What's the last one? Little limestone sarcophagus and a wooden coffin. Miniature coffins. For what? Huh. To honor him, his family erected a memorial and buried these miniature coffins of his sarcophagus and coffin at Abydos. So he's buried somewhere else, but he got a miniature burial at Abydos. Interesting. Okay. Oh, look at this. So this is a king. This is a big boy. Where is this from? Oh, no way. This is a palace wall fragment. This is from Memphis. That's fucking cool. I didn't know that. King Apries built a huge palace made from walls of mud brick lined with limestone slabs. These wall fragments are from a large gateway decorated with the images of him performing a ritual to prove he is fit to rule. The stone was originally painted in bright colors. The top fragment showing the sky with stars still has blue paint. If you look closely, you can see an animal's tail attached to the back of the king's skirt. What animal do you think it would be? Yeah, you can still see the paint all the way up here. So these ones, I know it's a little bit semantics and such. These items, we don't know 100%. I'd have to look at like each individual item. Most of these items are not actually stolen. These are properly excavated according to the laws at the time. And according to the laws at the time, like this said 1909, according to the laws of the time, if you excavated in Egypt, half of the objects that you would find would go to Egypt and half the ones you were allowed to take home. And or you were also allowed to, the items from your side, you could also then send them to people who were financially supporting your excavation. And usually those were very, very small finds. Later, those objects tend to get donated to museums as well. So like, these are technically legal. They are unethically taken from these countries because again, like Egypt was being ruled by non-Egyptians. It was under colonialism and such. And so, and yes, the skin color, so men are depicted in a reddish brown tone. Women are depicted in a yellowish to white tone. Sometimes that is reflective of like women not being outside as much, but that doesn't totally matter. It is more literally of just an artistic style and choice so that you can see the difference between a man and a woman. Yes, exactly, Spooky. It's not exactly why they speak Arabic now, but yes, because after ancient Egypt, then it was the Ottoman Empire, and then it was taken over by Western civilizations. But yeah, Britain ruled Egypt, or either ruled Egypt or controlled certain aspects of the Egyptian government and culture until extremely recently. There was the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities was French, I think, up until the 1970s. So they didn't really have control over antiquities until very, 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 very late. Nice little statue. Let's see what else is in here. Ooh, a foot. I love a foot. It's like a piece of a dress, I think. Oh! Which one? 4? That's Tutankhamun. From Luxor Temple. Interesting. Oh, and that's Nefertiti. Is that from Amarna? Yeah, that is Amarna. A lot of stuff is still painted, but it just depends on where you are. There are some really amazing tombs that are beautiful, still intact, with paint. It's because of the dry weather. Mesoamerica, it's a little bit harder because you don't have really dry weather like you do in Egypt. You're much more humid in certain areas and such. Yeah, absolutely the dry climate. But yeah, plastered and painted. Almost every statue you will see it was probably plastered and painted. Statues don't tend to have them preserved. I think it's because of just like the generalized shape that makes it harder for the plaster to adhere. But tomb walls are pretty good in general. Big scarab. Oh, there's the finger ring of Amenhotep II. And the a wooden cramp of Seti I. Yep, the French and then the British. They kind of opened Egypt up back to Western society in the 1799 with the Napoleonic campaign. So this is an armrest, which is kind of cool. It has Amenhotep, whichever one. Amenhotep I. That's his cartouche. All right, gotta breeze through this because I really want to hit Houston's one tonight. Beautiful statues. You guys are awful. A lot of ooh, look at these are all cosmetic items. So you got the mirror, you got the coal tubes, you have little pots. That one's got a little monkey holding it. A cosmetic scoop of some sort. Oh, you got hair extensions. Oh wow, a feather fanner. More mirrors, more coal tubes, a comb, and jewelry. Oh, it's a harp. It's a piece of a harp. Wow, that's amazing. This is all beautiful people. Lots and lots of jewelry. Ooh, there's the flies of valor. And a really sad Senate board. That thing is crushed to bits. Oh my god. Beautiful necklaces. All probably restrung, but that's okay. Yeah, someone got really mad and yeeted it across a room. That's what happened. So this is like how colorful some of these places would be and the wide range of the different paints they had. Amazing little inlays and amulets. Another amazing necklace. And you can see all these tiny little pieces of inlay, glass, and faience. Okay. Oh, forgot that. What's this? Oh, what is this? Oh my god. The Ramesses girdle. A scarf, a belt, a girdle. This rare piece of royal clothing has been called different things, but girdle is the best description. Tomb paintings show it was worn around the chest, so it's this, and fastened at the waist, this. It is the only surviving example and is a masterpiece of linen weaving. Wow, I had absolutely no idea this existed. I gotta go to Liverpool, guys. At one end, the name of King Ramses III was inscribed in ink, but it is now completely destroyed. Rows of Ankh hieroglyphs, meaning life, decorate the girdle. The king may have thought these powerful symbols would magically protect his life, especially on the battlefield. Which is saying something, because Ramses III is the one who got assassinated. I'm also very mad. It says gift of Joseph Mayor. So this is not an excavated piece, which means this is probably a piece that was found in a tomb by a modern person and then sold on the black market. If this is a gift of somebody else, this is something that is too precious that if it was actually excavated, it would never be given to a private individual. It would have gone straight to a museum. That's amazing. I've never seen that before. Oh, there's a video too. There we have more shop teas. Some looks like hieratic with sketch and a list. Is a list of payments. And these are a walking stick and a measuring rod from Deir al-Medina. That makes sense. Oh no, there's the tomb robbery document. They actually do have it. That one they were talking about on the other side of the exhibit, they actually do have it. That's impressive. I like that. I feel like it should not be on display like this. I feel like that's bad quality. So here's some actual shop teas. These are the worst looking shop teas I've ever seen. Shop teas of Ramses IV. Ramses IV was the son of King Ramses III. The poor quality shop teas placed on his tomb are a sign of the times. The country was in decline and the royal authority was crumbling. His tomb in the Valley of the Kings was robbed just 18 years after his death, as recorded on the papyrus next to it. I was thinking about that. Does it say in the corner? It might say on their website. I was wondering about that. So all of those do not touch signs, it looked like it was originally a kid's activity that you would touch it and something maybe would play, because there's both a blue sign and then there's, I think it says something like it is not operational or something, and then there's a do not touch sign. So I was thinking that, but it could be from COVID or it could be something else, because it says something is something closed. It looked like it's some audio tour, and then later they put the do not touch sign on it, which is interesting. Look at that piece of linen. That's beautiful. A linen blanket. And there's some gold and silver jewelry as well. Some bracelets. All right. Big honkin' coffin. So they had to put all these signs around because people probably were touching the hell out of it. God, I feel like we haven't even hit a third of this museum. This is a sarcophagus of Bank and Khonsu. Let me just quickly go. Oh, look, it's the little kids section. Let's walk like an Egyptian. There's a little seated area. This is probably for them to do lessons. That's actually a great little idea. Oh, from the Meroitic period. So this is Nubian. In Meroe. So this is actually from Nubia. Oh, this is the section of other African kingdoms. So these are all from Meroe, which are all Nubian. Oh, we had one like this at our museum. 2022. Still, that would make sense. So yeah, these are all slightly, they're still Egyptian in some ways, but some people would not consider these to be Egyptian. But you can see there's a lot of heavy influence of Egypt to this. They're writing in hieroglyphs, but these are all coming from a specific period in Egyptian history. Another Shopti box. And then these are all from the Greco-Roman period, obviously. Is that Antinous I see? No, but it could be. Okay. Whoa, look at that head. Beautiful stone. Oh, it's Amenhotep III. I should have known that. Yay, Kenny! Look at that axe. Look at all those pieces. Look at those gold things. Golden necklace spacers. Dang. Oh, replica. Okay. I still haven't gone to this room, but we're gonna go in the mummy room because I want to see. So automatically, this is great because this tells me that like it's everything is separated. Oh wow, this is amazing. We got a coffin here. Sorry, I'm kind of going fast through this because this is way bigger than I expected to be. Ah! I love him! It's a best jar. Isn't he so ugly? I love him. He's so ugly. So these are like almost all images of Bess. More amulets for the mummy. Yeah, see? Did you see that sign? That sign said social distancing, so this is like 2022. Oh, there's a little video about Ankh-Senamun, but not the same Ankh-Senamun. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It is a COVID sticker. Wow, look at this freaking coffin. My God. How detailed can you be? Dit Amun Pa Seneb, late period. Could have told you that, absolutely, just from all the... But look at the mummy bandages, those are labeled. Isn't that amazing? They have hieroglyphs written on them. Oh, here, I want you guys to see this. So there's always an image of the goddess Nut, either in the coffin, like either in the base of the coffin and stuff. This is a virtual tour of a museum. So this is the virtual tour of the Liverpool Museum in England. The Liverpool Egyptian Gallery. And it's free accessible on their website. Oh, interesting. 3 mummies, 3 collectors. The aristocrat, the soldier, and the archaeologist. Interesting. Oh, how cool is that? They took an x-ray of the mummy and then they lined up all the amulets where they were on the x-ray. How cool is that? That's fucking awesome. I love that. That's a good idea. If you guys can't tell from how quick I'm going through this is how quick I would do it in an actual museum. I'm not a museum reader, which I think is very ironic and very funny. This is Nessim. And... oh, God. An Egyptian 1886 British soldier, Andrew Haggard, collected a mummy he believed to be Potiphar's wife from the biblical story of Joseph and his coat of many colors. He shipped it to his brother, the famous Victorian writer Henry Rider Haggard, who gave it to the Norwich Castle Museum. Years later, the museum bought this mummy. Years later, I guess the Liverpool Museum bought this mummy from the Norwich Castle Museum. We now know the mummy is not Potiphar's wife and not even a woman. Inscriptions on the coffin identify it as a man called Nessim, who served as a priest at the Temple of Min. X-rays in 1966 confirmed he was indeed a man. Spooky, the Victorians did not eat mummies. They did unwrap them, but they did not eat them. I have a whole thing about it. It's part of my debunking lecture that will be on YouTube soon, but I also did a video on my TikTok at the front. It's pinned at the top of my TikTok page. But the Victorians did not eat mummies. It was the trend was over. The trend was over by the time of the Victorians. That was squished into the coffin. No, he looks pretty fine. I think that is it. There's another story of a mummy being unwrapped in New York City that was said to be, which is going to be something in my Oops All Victorians lecture, absolutely. But it is, that mummy, they said was a female, and then they unwrapped it and it was clearly a man. I don't know about the one with the shoulders. I don't remember which one you're talking about. Oh, I don't know that. I don't know that story. That's not ringing a bell. I was in a show you saw? I'm curious. All right, so that's a dead end. So let's keep on moving. She's a very nice coffin. I like her. Oh my God, look at all the shop tees. Look at all the shop tees. Look at all those shop tees. I'm so funny. I have to clip myself. These are some of my favorite ones that are the kind of janky ones, but the kind of mid-tier ones. Oh, look, there's an overseer. So all of the ones with their hands both crossed are normal shopties. The one with just one hand is an overseer shoptie. So you can see there's two, and there's another one right there. And there's one too. And these guys, this guy's an overseer as well. Because each one of these guys are holding plows. Hi, Anna, how are you, my love? Yes. Yeah, so it's... I don't like attributing it to, like, a zombie apocalypse, but it is literally, like, they believe that everything in their tomb is gonna come alive. So that included, like, all of your shopties. So here's the really, really early shopties that, again, are really bad. They're just, like, a chunk of wood. Yay, relaxing. We're looking at the Liverpool Museum and their Egyptian collection because they have a really good virtual tour. And then we're going to look at the Houston Museum next. What time is it? 10:40? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to fit all of them. Damn it. We're going to have to do a second stream. I think I have to do the Houston one tonight, but I'm probably not going to fit the next one. Thank you, Alex, for sharing that so everyone else can see. But yeah, you can see a couple of them are sanctioned together. So these are shopties of a queen. Wherever number 6 is, these are some shopties of some kings. Amenhotep III, Seti I. But all of these ones appear to kind of be generalized. Yeah, so these ones, the ones that are really glossy, they are made out of a glass-like material called faience. Faience is a silica ceramic. So it's not fully glass, but it is using a lot of silica, which makes it have a very glass-like glaze on the top of something. But yeah, that's why they're so glassy. And faience usually appears in a bluish color to sort of these yellowish tones. So the vast majority of all of these are faience and includes white. That doesn't look like faience to me. That looks like alabaster. These don't look like faience. This still could possibly be faience. These ones are a little vague. But that is the right spelling. You are correct. There is technically a modern ceramic type also called faience, and it's not the same thing. It's like a brassy, what's it called? Ooh, a Book of the Dead. So this is the Book of the Dead. I love when they lay it all out like this. So this is a whole long list. Essentially it's a cheat sheet for how to get to the afterlife. There you got the weighing of the heart, and the deceased is right here, surmounted by Ma'at on either side. And you got Amit, you got Thoth, you have Anubis, looks like Horus, and the feather of Ma'at versus the heart of the deceased. And these are all the gates. So this is technically probably a Book of the Gates, Book of the Dead, and all of the different demons essentially that he possibly will encounter. And it's essentially just a giant cheat sheet to tell you how to get through the afterlife. Oh yeah, here's the opening of the mouth. Where was that? It's on right here. So this is him as a mummy, and they're opening his mouth because literally, remember, in the afterlife you are going to be reborn, so you have to have your mouth open so that you can talk and eat and speak and barf and all of that stuff. So that's like one of the special rituals that's done. Here's a pretty early coffin. This is like a Middle Kingdom coffin. And are the eyes on this side? Yeah, the eyes are on this side. So the body actually would be laid sideways so that the head is at this side and it would be facing the two eyes so that it is looking out and seeing all the offerings that would be placed out. Thanks, Silver. I'm going to look that up later. Absolutely. And then you also needed these models because this was literally like a model of somebody sailing. So you could use, you could sail and you could fish, and in some cases your coffin could be brought over to the afterlife via boat. Oh, interesting. Ooh. And this is again another Middle Kingdom coffin. You got a scribal palettes, you got sandals. These are fake sandals actually. They're models, they're not real sandals. And then you got a whole big bunch of people sailing on this little boat. Okay, what do we get next? Oh my god, just keeps on going. Animal mummies! We talked about this already, but we got snakes, falcon, cat. Maybe shrew. This is definitely like a shrew or an ichion. Falcon. Falcon. Big crocodile. Baby crocodile. Biggish crocodile. Cat. Baby goat? Oh, is that an ostrich egg? Mummified newborn animals. It's a crocodile egg. Crocodile. That's probably a dog. Cat mummy head. That's an ibis that looks in a really weird, but two. Oh, a fish! It's a Nile perch. It's a fish. I know this dog! I have a headache. I know this dog. I forgot. I was wondering if there was going to be a dog at this museum. I definitely thought there was. I was vaguely remembering that there was a dog at this museum. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? There's a little dog. Yeah, I have this one in my corpus. I recognize this one. I was wondering if we were going to see it. A lot of the dogs I find sometimes are just not on display. But this one is, which is so good. What's over here? Oh, look at the goddess Newt. Look at her. So see her face, and she's swallowing the sun, and her body just goes all the way over, and then she's giving birth to the sun. Oh my god, that's like the best depiction of her I've ever seen. I wish it was more comfortable. Majora, yes, I saw your email. I just haven't replied back to it yet because I was working today. And I was unexpectedly out. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kepper. Damn it, I missed the ad. I'm so sorry, Kepper. I was excited about the dog. I missed the ad. What was the last thing you heard me say? I'm sorry. This is the goddess Newt, the goddess of the sky. And she's stretching over the entirety of this stela. You can see her face is here. And she's swallowing the sun. And the sun would go through her entire body. You can see it here. And then she would give birth to it the next morning. This is Rei Harakti. I'm sorry, Kepper. I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fix it. I just can't fix it right now. Little bronze statue. There's some cats. See? This is what we like. This gallery contains human remains. This is what we need to know. All right. Big ol' room of mummies. They have a smell exhibit? No way. Sorry, I can't get... They have a smell exhibit, but it's offline. I believe Set, my personal belief is that Set is a made-up animal. Set is meant to be, I do talk about, sorry, I'm seeing two different questions on two different chats. I do talk about combination gods. Most gods are combination gods. So I have covered them. Or is there any one specific one that you're thinking of? I've done Amit, but I've, like, technically all gods have a combination. Almost all gods have a combination aspect to them. So I've covered a lot of them, like Thoth, he's a combination god. Unless you mean something else. When I say combination, I mean a combination between human and animal. If that means a different thing to you, let me know. When it comes to Set, I think Set is a mythical animal. I don't think he is meant to represent an actual animal. He is the god of chaos. He's the god of, like, difference and stuff. And so I think he is meant to be combination of a lot of different things. Like the head of, like, I think he's meant to be like Amit. He's meant to have, like, the head of one thing, the body of another thing, the tail of another thing, or he is this mythical animal that does not exist. That's my personal opinion. I do believe that, like, Aardvark is an option. It's a weird option, but I do think it's an option. So these mummies are all still wrapped up. Oh, but I love what they're doing with the mirror. Look how cool that is. That's really cool. Canopic jars, beautiful mask. That's my favorite one. Oh my god, I had no idea he's at the Liverpool Museum. That is my favorite mask of all time because I made a meme out of him in grad school. Do I still have that? I want to see if I can find it. I made a meme out of him in high school or in grad school. Where'd he go? I had him saved somewhere. Do I have I think I still have that folder for... I thought I still had... I had a folder for meme stream, for the meme stream. I don't know if I still have it. No, I don't know where it is. I did do some reorganizing, but I did make a meme out of this. Oh, here it is. Ancient history comics or memes. It's gotta be in here somewhere. Which is also very bold for me to put it in a thing of other things that are not, I did not create. God, there's so many memes in here. No! Where is it? It's absolutely ridiculous that I can't find it. I made a meme about it. It was really funny. It was about, like... Oh, here it is! I found it! It says at the top, when your advisor hands you back your thesis chapter covered in red ink. Sorry, you guys can't see the whole title. But he's just got an itty bitty face. I didn't realize he was at the Liverpool Museum. But yeah, it was like, when your advisor hands you back your thesis chapter covered in red ink. Phenomenal cosmic headdress. Itty bitty face. You think sets a no copy? I love that. I love that idea. No reason. Have absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea why. This one says... So it is a rishi style, which rishi means feathers. But excavation not recorded. Name of rishi feather in Arabic is used to refer to a particular type of coffin and mask with a feathered pattern and sometimes a small face. This style is thought to represent the wings of the ba bird, the person's soul. It could also represent a winged deity like Horus and Isis. This rishi mask is decorated with the wings of a falcon surrounded by a very small golden face. So like it says that the rishis tend to have a smaller face, but this is like small, very small. Okay, here's some mummies these are some mummy bands. That's really cool. Mummy straps. You can see them being displayed here. See the mummy straps? And there are the actual straps. It's very, very cool. Is there anything behind us? No, it's just a giant. So here are some actual mummies. These are Roman period mummies. But see, like these ones are so fully covered that I'm fine with these being like that because they're still technically almost wrapped. Look at that one. That's a beautiful, beautiful coffin. And see this one, this is like the mummy that we had at my university. And it's just his head is unwrapped, and I think that's fine too. It's not mosaic, it's beading. It's all different beads put together. It's a small little beaded face. Okay, so yeah, so I haven't done anything like that. I'm trying to think. I could definitely do some of those gods as well. That's okay. I know that I still need to cover like Onuris. Like there's a couple of gods, like later gods. But yeah, I still haven't covered some of those combination gods. It kind of depends. I don't know if I would combine, like, I would rather do ones that are it's kind of weird to say, more fully combined. Like, what's the god I'm thinking of? There's Onuris, and then there's, like, fudge cakes. I'm thinking of one that I can't name. But there are ones that are more fully combined rather than, like, a Dionysus Osiris. What's the one that's... It's Zeus and Osiris together, but he's got a different name. I can't remember. But I might, for sure. There's still so many gods I haven't covered, so you always feel free to comment and I'll look into it and we'll see if we'll make a video about it. So see, this mummy's fully wrapped. Right, I think we're almost done with this. This is a great museum. Oh, look, little chair legs. Yeah, chair legs. Oh, we got a hand. Just a hand. Oh, but does he have rings on his hand? There are traces of gold on the surface suggesting the hand is entirely covered in gold leaf. X-ray has revealed that the hand belongs to a young adult, probably a female. Expensive gold and lapis lazuli rings on her finger tell us she was from a very rich family. Yeah, I was like thinking, is that freaking lapis lazuli? It looked like it was. There's a small little child mummy, if you see over here with a Fayum mummy portrait. Hi, not a professor. This is the Liverpool Museum. Their Egyptian collection specifically. God, this is always the image. This is from one of the Deir al-Medina tombs. This is always the image that gets popped up. Mummy of an unknown boy from Hawara. And then we got these, which has, like, you can see the inner coffin. So here's the bottom of the inner coffin, top of the inner coffin, bottom of the outer coffin, top of the outer coffin, and then the mummy in the middle. Thanks, Alex. All right. I don't want to be done, but I want to get on to the next museum. I think there's just this section left. Oh, a nice statue of Sekhmet. This is the last section. This seems to be an exhibit about the collectors, so like including some of the items that they specifically collected. Oh, Flinders! I love you! This is Flinders Petrie. We love Flinders Petrie. He's a cool dude. Are they gonna tell me who that person is? Oh, Emery. Yeah, I know Brian Emery. Whoa, what's that? Oh, look at the picture of when it was excavated. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. That's so not Egyptian. Yeah, it's Meroitic. That makes sense. I was like, that's not Egyptian. My favorite! These are my favorite types of jars. Although this thing is scattered to all bits. This is an Amarna period style jar. It's the only time that Egyptian pottery looked pretty. I don't know that Emery is a name of a benefactor, and that is Emery with an O. This is Emery with an E. But good catch, because I was thinking of that for a second, but I believe they are two different people. Funerary wreaths. Oh, Percy Newberry, yeah. Newberry he was big in Beni Hassan. Amulets collected by Florence fucking Nightingale. Well, very interesting. She visited Egypt in the winter of 1849 to 1850. She was one of the first Western women to make such a journey, and she carried home small antiquities as souvenirs. Insane. Isn't that crazy? Florence Nightingale. Never knew. Never knew that. Francis Danson. I don't know his name. Oh, and that's the guy they said. Sir Henry Rider Haggart. I don't know that guy's name either. Crossing back over here. Sobek M. Hot. Bidos. Ooh, a harp! Look at it! It's beautiful! A shoulder harp excavated at Beni Hassan. Look how beautiful it is! Look, it was found tucked in between two big coffins. It's beautiful! People have been asking me to do a musical a series about musical instruments. Yeah, not a professor. This is from 2022 because there's a lot of COVID-19 like stickers in this place. The one we just previously looked at was Smithsonian, and those ones you could not even zoom, and you could only, there was only one station and you could only go so far. This one is like, look at all the dots. There's so many dots everywhere. So it's really helpful. She's a little sad. Oh my god. Is this from an intermediate period? It's from Middle Kingdom. Middle Kingdom had better art than that. Oh, look, an advertisement for the Liverpool Museum. Whoa, what is that? 4 pages of an astronomy book. These wooden pages were originally bound together with a string as a book used for casting horoscopes. It is written in demotic script, a later form of writing. Each page records the movements of the planets Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and Mercury over 62 years. The modern Western zodiac is based on the ancient Egyptian view of the night sky. Amazing. That's cool. Is that a crown? What is that? Why is it positioned like that? I can't see what it is. Ooh, a forgery. Oh, these are all forgeries. These are almost all forgeries. Isn't that interesting? Despite Mayer being a gold and silversmith, he purchased quite a lot of forgeries in gold and silver. Forgeries are often hard to identify, but these ones have obvious fake symbols and are stylistically wrong. Isn't that cool? That's so crazy. Oh, obviously. Why does she have a fish on her head? Oh my god, that's so funny. Golden diadem with zodiac signs, pair of earrings, statue of Isis with a modern edition of a fish. That makes sense. That's really funny. That's not a forgery, but that's very funny. Pieces of a big ass coffin. Really nice hieroglyphs. You gotta be nice. You gotta be nice to the kid. Oh, interesting. Views of an anti-clan imaging Egypt and Palestine in the First World War. Little mini exhibit over here. And then I've already done this. I think we're done. Is this it? Exit this way. I think we did the whole thing. Yes, we did. Okay. So that was a great one. I think we're gonna leave. I think we're gonna have to do I think we're gonna have to do one more of this stream. Because we're gonna do the Houston, what is this? Houston Museum of Natural Science. Is that what this is called? We're gonna do this one. I don't know how big it is. I'm hoping it's kind of small. Because the other ones we have are Harvard, which is freaking huge. Although it's only a section of it is in Egypt. And then I have the Rosicrucian. I also have the Geyer Anderson Museum, and then I have the Coptic Museum. Those are both in Egypt. So I think we'll do this one, and we'll probably end. Oh yeah, oh my god, look how big this is. We'll end after this one. Oh god. Ugh. I'm trying to figure out if this is cringy or if this is cool. No, it's actually kind of cool. Renovated in 2021. Okay, so this is pretty recent. I want to look at this timeline without... So there's a timeline similar to the Liverpool Museum, much shorter, much more precise. It looks like it moves. It looks like certain things appear. Maybe you touch these with your hands, or it just kind of filled. Oh yeah, see? It's gonna move as time goes on because the late period's cut off in this. So that is cool. The line scrolls. Okay, yeah. We have a guest on the TikTok chat who has been requesting me to look at this for literally like months at this point. Yeah, so this is, I can put it in the chat right now. I don't know if they have, so quickly I'll go back. This is like literally the permanent exhibition, and there's just a thing just says 3D tour. So it might have a 3D tour of whatever section of the museum you're talking about. But I have not looked at like the rest of the, this is a separate one. Absolutely. This was always on the list, and it was going to be just like at the very, very end. And we're going to have to do another stream to talk about the other ones, but I'm making sure we're talking about it because I know you're here today. I'm trying to figure out if I'm reconstructions are difficult to do, and so I'm sometimes kind of back and forth about them. I'm honestly surprised that this is the permanent exhibition, because I would expect this which sounds crazy, I would expect this of like a traveling exhibition, sort of. Ramses III temple. Okay, at least it's based on something actually. I was gonna say, I was wondering why it was cut off, so that makes more sense. Why it's cut off, because it literally is like meant to be a specific temple. But I would like a sign telling me that. Well, I'm gonna go in. It might be inside. I do love the columns. The columns are very cool. Ooh, which way do I go? This looks pretty dynastic. I'm gonna actually go this way. I'm a stickler for chronological, unless everything is based on like typology. So I'm a stickler for going chronological and stuff. Oh, okay, it doesn't have a sign. See, that's the problem. Is it like if there's sort of a thing where it's like, if you're going to kind of make it up, like make it up. But if you're going to actually base it off of something, like put a sign saying that it's based on something. The what's it called? In Memphis, which is where I went to grad school, the zoo is based, the entrance is based on a pylon of like ancient Egyptian. And they didn't necessarily base it on any particular pylon, but what they did was they literally hired my professor at my university to write them sentences in hieroglyphs that say the mission of the museum. And that is what the hieroglyphs are on like the front entrance of this museum. And so like, while I don't like them kind of making shit up, like at least they like actually consulted with an Egyptologist for like the design and the decoration of it and stuff, which I think is really cool. So we got some D-ware, which I hate the name of it. D-ware stands for decorated wear, although sometimes this would be called, this is technically D-ware, sometimes this is called white cross line wear, blah 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 blah. It's not a mace head, it's a no, I think it is a mace head. Yeah, it is a mace head. God, the light is just shining. I can't read that. But yeah, a mace head and a knife. A knife! No! See, I like these. I like the decoration of it. It's very dramatic. Because to be honest, the new like trend in museums is very neutral, and it's very like very plain, because it's meant to be like focus on the art. I don't mind in more history ones to kind of focus and kind of immerse yourself a little bit more. If we're at an art museum and you're meant to like look at the art and blah blah blah, like I kind of understand it. I like the old-fashioned museums though. Oh, look, a Marna period. I'm betting this is a Marna period. Oh, good. I can zoom in so far. Yeah, Reign of Akhenaten from Tel El Marna. Yeah, I can tell that. I can tell that a mile away. It's the eyes, the almond-shaped eyes. And this is an interesting. I think this looks like a stela, but it's actually a piece of a it's actually a piece of a tomb wall, I think. It says it's from Saqqara. This looks like a dog. It is not. That is a baby cow. I can see it. I'm skilled at knowing what type of animal this thing is. Very interesting. He's sitting on a folding chair. These are so interesting. These are like little tiny like spirit houses and such. And there's so many of them, and they look so weirdly similar to the spirit houses that you see from like ancient China and stuff. It always cracked me up. It's like, they're more like us. They're just like us. Ooh, fancy pottery. Oh, like lots of beautiful alabaster. And this is faience. That's probably more pottery, and that's probably more pottery. But these all look like alabaster mostly, except that one and this one. Scripts and writing in Egypt. I think that's an end piece of a coffin. Oh, look at the little scribe. Oh, a scribal palette. We love scribal palettes. Oh, really? That's cool. I think that's the same Ramses II exhibition that came to Memphis. And Memphis has a replica of a very famous Ramses II statue that's now in the open air museum in Memphis, Egypt. And they got a replica of it. It's outside my university. I love how he's got like some little belly rolls. Bust of a scribe, coffin, hieratic ostracon, scribal paladin, figure of a scribe. The end of the hall. All right, we got to go back to the other side of this, but yeah, we'll hit it up. Itty bitty pieces of glass, some copper. Ooh, I love these things. This is a hammer. This is a big wooden hammer, but you can see how over time this hammer has been used for shit. It has been used like literally crazy because it is all hollow on the inside. It would have been like a full like cone-ish shape, but that thing has been used and used and used as much as possible. Oh, those are weights. Those are little weights for like putting on a scale, I think. Number 12. Weights. Yeah, it says weights. Little carvings. Oh yeah, these are like artist sketches and unfinished stela. Oh, this is a drill. That's what this is. I was trying to figure out what that was. Oh yeah, that's why the steel is unfinished here at the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna go. How do I get all the way over here? Because we gotta look at this. Look how beautiful this is. So pretty. I know Houston has one, and I also know the Petrie Museum has one of these as well. Old Kingdom beaded dresses. Absolutely stunning. Oh, that's a nice little first intermediate period. Yeah. It's sort of my shame that I can look at a piece and I can be like, that's a first intermediate piece because it looks so bad. Whoa, that's really cool, Alex. I love that. Is this the MFA in Boston? Okay, I was like, this looks weirdly familiar. So, my university had the vast majority of the collection at my university's museum is from the MFA in Boston, and it's like a long-term loan, essentially. Thank you for following, TKL. And so, I don't know why this looked really familiar. That's really cool. Alex, I love that idea. It reminds me of the museum I went to in Northern Ireland that was, quote unquote, advertised to me as run by a terrorist, but it's talking about the Troubles, where it's talking about both sides of kind of the action and such. With no color. Yeah, that's definitely possible. There's a lot of ones that have lost a lot of that paint. Oh, I made a video about this one. Not about this one specifically, but there was one on, I did an Artifact Insight video about a piece that was identical to that one that was on auction recently. It's this tiny little coal pot. It's got a gold rim on it. And they compared it to this one. That's really cool. And that one's in the shape of a hedgehog. And that one's in the shape of a duck. This reminds me a lot of my university's museum, but like on crack cocaine. Because this is like way better produced than my museum was. Oh, look, a goat. These are all different cosmetic jars. I love these. These are really cool. I also got to go down the middle aisle. Let me forget. Well, that sure is fancy. Should we figure out whose name that is without looking? Because I got my names. Oh, it's a Ramses. Sorry, I'm pretty good. It's Ramesu. So it's one of the Ramses, but which Ramses could it be? Because there's literally so many. I'm gonna maybe start with Ramses the second, because I feel like it's a higher probability that it's one of them. Yeah, it should be. I think it's Ramses the second. Am I right? Yep. Vessel with the cartouche of Ramses the second. So yeah, so this is for Ramesu is on the right, and then it goes Usur. Can I zoom in anymore? No. Usur, Ma'at, Ray. And then Setep Pen Ray is technically the whole thing, but oh no, yeah, so it's Usur Ma'at Ray, and then it's Setep N Ray. So that's his full name. Oh, thank you for the warning. Yeah, so some of these mummies are going to be unwrapped, is our warning. Oh, a razor. Very nice. Is that a bracelet? It's beautiful. Oh, that's from a pretty big Old Kingdom tomb. Oh, I have this dog too! See the little head of the dog on this ostracon biting this antelope? I'm pretty sure I have that one. That's so cute. Kar and Edu hunting from Giza, Tomb of Kar. That's a beautiful inscription. It shows a chariot. Lots of cartouches. Wow. Lots of cartouches. Amenhotep the First? Oh, Ramses II. That's not a good Ramses II image. Usually he's pretty recognizable, and that one was not the best. More cartouches, more shop tees. Alright, I actually need to go back down. Need to go back down the middle. Oh no, middle. So what do we got? We got some pottery. It's a big vase. Oh, they do. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't notice that. Nap, that's so cool. Because I noticed the little patches on the further walls. But yeah, even the walls in the back are deteriorated. That's so cool. Such a subtle little ad. I love that. Pottery. It looks like maybe a piece of bread. You got more text. Oh, here's some mummy tags. Like I was telling you guys before, it's like a little toe tag. And that looks like a statue of Imhotep. He always gets included in all these. Beautiful mirror. In like a cosmetic box. And looks like a comb. Are these double-sided? Sort of. Oh, they are. I missed that. What's on the other side of this one? Hello? Get me over there. Never mind. Alright, well, can't get over there. Whoa! Big baby here. Yeah, look, they're all deteriorated. That's so cool. Oh, look, another hammer. Oh, and a trial piece, too. What's on the other side of this case? Oh, yeah, these are all, like, trial pieces. What's on the other side of this? Ooh, a big scarab. Oh, look at that shell. Usur SR SN. Senwaseret. Yeah, Senwaseret. Oh, it's the Lion Hut scarab. Oh, very cool. That's a really famous one. No, this is actually in Houston. This is the Houston Museum of Natural Science and their Egyptian collection that they redid in 2021. Senwaseret, I'd have to look it up. I'm not, it's a pharaoh's name. I'm not as familiar with, Senwaseret. Let's see what, pharaoh.se. Or Senuseret. Senwaseret's not the best way to pronounce it. It's usually Senuseret. Senuseret means man of Useret, or man of Waseret. So that's probably a city. It's not a mustache. That's a god. He kind of always looks like that. Most of the Egyptian stuff is on loan by private collectors, so these pieces you can't trace back. Yeah, it's more common than you think, but yeah, it does sometimes happen in a lot of different museums. I think Waseret is Thebes, but I could also be wrong. I always forget what the Egyptian word for Thebes is. Is that like a big snake? I think it is, sort of. Oh. Just one case for this guy. Sorry, it's getting a little harder to navigate in this. I think it's Bess. I don't know why he's getting one big ass case for him. So statue of Ramses. For sure. But yeah, you can see it's more deteriorated in the back of the room, which is really interesting. Oh, he's giving a sphinx. Is that a copy? I can't read that. What is that? Is that the city? Yeah. So she's the goddess of Thebes, but it's also the city. Ah. Are you back? Thank you, Fable. I said, is that a... This looks very familiar to me, and so I was saying, is this a trial or like a plaster replica? But I can't read the sign. It says it's actually from Emory University at the Carlos Museum, but he's holding up like a sphinx and he's like offering it to somebody. A trial is a weird word that you use for a plaster copy, sometimes. So that's what I was thinking of. And then the only thing you miss is that Wasseret is technically a goddess, but her name is the same name of the Egyptian city Wasset, which is Thebes. So literally Sen Wasseret or Sen Useret means the man of Thebes. That's all his name means. So thanks for sending me that, because I always forget it. I don't know why. I just never sometimes just doesn't click into my brain. Now this is definitely, if this is real, it's definitely copied from something else, but there's also no sign saying what it is if it is copied. So let's keep on going. Little amulets. These are all different gods. So you got the Wedjada, you got Amun, you got Nefertum. I gotta do a video on Nefertum. Yeah. That is... what's on his head? Oh, an offering figure. He's just an offering figure. So the blue stone is most likely faience. Yeah. So it's a ceramic material that has a lot of silica in it. So it's all shiny like that. Ooh, that's so pretty. It's very pretty. The king between the gods. Middle Kingdom. Oh, this is Mentuhotep II. Okay, that makes sense. This is the temple of Mentuhotep II, which is in Deir al-Bahri, in between. It's the first temple that's in Deir al-Bahri, and then later Hatshepsut, and then later Thutmose II also built temples in that area. But Mentuhotep's temple is not in great condition, but a lot of pieces have a lot of paint preserved onto them. Ooh. What is this? It's just a big slab of hieroglyphs. It's kind of ugly. Decree of... oh! Shit, this is from the Old Kingdom. Decree of Nefer Karer Kakai, representing the freedom of the clergy. From Abydos. Temple of Osiris. I'm gonna have to look that up later. That's so interesting. It's not something I would expect to find here. I really wish that this they turned down the lights a little bit, because it's covered. That's awesome. Mentuhotep II. And that's a statue of a king from the 18th dynasty. I like these little tiny rooms. Oh, it's Thoth. Hi, Thoth. Can I get closer to you? Yes, I can. Oh, he's still got some color on him. Possibly from Karnak. Ooh, Amarna period. Look, it's the princesses. Cute. Ray Harakti. Sorry guys, I'm fading fast. Okay, so yeah, it's Nefertiti here, and then 2 princesses following her. And then probably means Akhenaten was standing out further. Whoa! I gotta look at that. What's this? Oh, I gotta go. Can I go around here? Aw. It looks like alabaster pieces. Scarabs, little inlays, and amulets. Hi, Pharaoh and Neferu. We're in the evening. Oh, that's the Ramses III temple. Cool. Which Ramses III temple? In Thebes? Or in, does he have another one that I'm blanking on? Oh! It says foundation deposit plaque, but I can't see which one that is. Oh, Medinat Habu. Medinat Habu. Thank you for sending the rose. I didn't go to Medinat Habu when I was in Egypt last year, so I'm not as familiar with it. So cool. Does it changes? Like to show you like all the different, so like this is Abu Simbel model, and it looks like it changes like over time. That's so cool. Because only this statue has like since been kind of crushed. I still have a giant Lego version of this that I have to look at. Great Temple of Abu Simbel. Got another clapper over there. Oh, a Menat. The back end of a Menat. And a sistrum as well. Lots of religious items. Ritual paraphernalia. I love that word, paraphernalia. Yeah, perfect, Majora. No problem. How many Discord servers is too many Discord servers? What do you mean, Fable Fanatic? Like how they really looked? Is there like, do you mean is there an ancient culture? 200? Jesus. How do you keep up? Yeah, Tom Hardwick. He's a big Egyptologist. I forgot that he's at Houston. Talking about all the gods, little video. I was gonna say, I'm so bad at Discord, that's like, I don't know how you take that. So Egyptian art is in general always idealistic. I am not probably gonna watch it because I don't watch Joe Rogan. Honestly, that's the worst of the two of them. And so I know people are asking my opinion on it and everything, but Joe Rogan is not somebody that I can respect, and Zahia Was is always teetering on that, but Joe Rogan is absolutely a no-no. Which is maddening because I do want to watch it, but I feel like I'm gonna not feel great after watching it. It's the same thing with I never even watched the Mr. Beast in Egypt. I never watched that video either, just because like I knew I was kind of gonna be mad, so I didn't do it. Go for it, Majora. It's just like insanely a lot. I'm not even in nearly as many. So these are all images of different gods. There's so many different like little metal statues of gods now. That's a nice stela. Oh, it's just Sekhmet. That's nice. Oh yeah, I did hear about the one in Mexico with Mr. Beast. I did hear that one. That was very controversial as well. Do you think, not a professor, that the reason projections are so popular is because they sort of are technically cheaper and also like, not trying to think of the right word for it, like a little bit more easy to deal with than like putting a TV on a wall, like a permanent like TV, rather than just like you can just put like, where's the projector? There it is. Could that be a reason why? I just kind of thought of that for a second. So these are all bridging on Greco-Roman, if not even later, honestly. Big old coffin. How much more? How bigger is this? Aha! Look at that! The bot is so funny. Oh, there's a menot too. That's a nice menot, actually. A menot is a religious necklace that was also sort of an instrument at the same time. And it was sort of like a shaker. Like you kind of shook it. Like similar to a sistrum. It does kind of look like ET. I think these are supposed to be breasts. They're very pointy. Menots. Yeah. Sometimes there's an H, but I think it's spelled mostly that way. I can't believe my headphones are still working. It said that it was gonna die like literally at the beginning of the stream. Wow, so many images of Bess. Milk jug with jugs. So many images of Bess. Animal mummies, of course. Looks like a goose, looks snake, falcon. Oh my god, they have a scarab coffin? No way. That's so crazy. Yeah, I don't know enough about if projectors are easier than TVs, but I'm wondering if they're just more like, I don't know, because you don't have to like mount a TV and stuff like that. But yeah, a possibility. Noctorheb. Yeah, I think that's another thing I was thinking of, is like you can do way more with a projector than I feel like a TV, and the space is definitely a big issue. You can fill up so much more with a projector than a TV. Ooh, look at that Anubis. He's so cute. He's a very nice one, actually. It's a very interesting stela. The boat on the top. Big amulets too. Big coffin. This guy always reminds, whenever I see coffins like these, they always remind me of the Easter Island heads. Very smooth. Yeah, the dog is very smooth carved. I think it's wood with plaster on top. Not 100% sure, but it looks like that. Little canopic jars. These are older ones. Older canopic jars only have human heads. Like perfect human heads and stuff. Jackal. Not a dog. But he probably was a nice one. But yeah, early canopic jars only have human heads. I I believe they are called canopic jars because of a ancient Egyptian city called Canopus. And it's just, they're just called that because, probably not because they were discovered there. But I don't think, canopic jar is not the word that the ancient Egyptian uses. I believe that is a modern name. Yeah, early ones, so the earliest ones don't have any faces at all. They just have a lid. Then the next generation ones have only human heads, and then you don't see the 4 sons of Horus until the New Kingdom. So these are... Oh, these are late period. Oh, that's interesting. This makes sense because these are probably mimicking... During the late period, there was a period called archaizing when essentially the art style reverted back to Old Kingdom because they were inspired by Old Kingdom stuff. And so they were copying what Old Kingdom stuff looked like. So... Yeah, I do like immersion. One of my favorite uses of like a projector is in the Queens of Egypt exhibit at the National Geographic Museum, which was put on originally by the Egyptian Museum in Turin. And they used full wall projections that were actually made in conjunction with the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed Origins group. And they were like the best projections I've ever seen. And I remember thinking like, these are too good. Like these are too good for a museum, even like a museum that is really rich, like, and has really good funding. This is too much. And when I looked in the catalog later, it said, thanks to Ubisoft for letting us borrow. Like they designed essentially special, more stationary, but still movable, videos of something going on in ancient Egypt that was based on the video game, which I thought was really cool. Oh my god, it's almost midnight. Yee! How much longer? Where am I? Oh god, there's still so much. Okay. We'll be okay. Where was I? I was over here. Finger and toe stalls. I love these. These are little finger caps and toe caps that you would put over your mummy. Aren't those cute? Does this say where the name comes from? Yeah, pertaining to Canopus, a Greek commander that fought in the... Oh, never mind. I thought that was a city. Never mind. Canopus, a Greek commander that fought in the Trojan War. Canopus was a helmsman of the hero Menelaus at the successful campaign in Troy. While ashore on the northern coast of Egypt, he was bitten by a snake and died. Menelaus had a monument built to his memory and a town developed there that was named after him. Okay, I was right. It was thought in classical Greek times that the local Egyptians worshipped Canopus as a divine being represented in the form of a jar with small feet, a thin neck, a swollen body, and a round back. It is unclear whether this had been a misunderstanding made by the Greek travelers or a deliberate fabrication, but in truth is that Canopus was never revered in Egypt because Canopus is like, he's not a person. Thanks to the wrong association between these jars and the legend of Menelaus and Canopus, they became known as canopic jars. And then they had no reason to change it back. Of course. Thank you so much, Kepper. No, these ones specifically are literally, they usually are longer. These are actually pretty short. They're just little finger caps, and it was meant to help you into the afterlife because the legend was that God's skin was made of gold, hair was made of lapis lazuli, and bones were made of silver. And so by putting on these little gold caps over your fingers and toes, you were essentially becoming a god. Okay, we got a mummy. Ooh. A little unwrapped. Oh, I see. I was like, where is his face? His head is leaning very far back. Neskansu. No, his head is there. It's just very hard. See, this is his nostril. And here's his mouth. His head is just leaning very far back. Because he has like a bunch of layers underneath him. But yeah. Is that like a little wreath of leaves or flowers? Oh, so cute. Very cool. Beautiful coffin. Ooh. There's a king on the inside of this. I of course can't... Oh, this is the same coffin for that guy. His body was in there. What king is this? Amun. It's Amenhotep. It's one of the Amenhoteps. I think it has both his throne name and something else inside of it. I don't know who that is. I gotta look that up later. Oh, of his scan. Oh, interesting. And I saw that video, which looks like his oh, he had the scan of what was inside of it. I'm gonna look him up later. Oh god, look at this coffin. She's sad. And that little... Okay. Next room. Oh, this is so interesting. Is this where you can like take pictures? I love that. Add a little in there. Headrest, really nice necklace, and a big jar. God, there's still so much. Ooh, look at that little offering table. It's in the shape, this table is in the shape of the hieroglyph for offering. They stopped mummifying in the later Roman period. So they did this kind of weird combination mummification and like adding like Roman details and stuff. But it probably more explicitly like ended like when Christianity was introduced to the Roman Empire and thus to Egypt. But oh wow, these are really small. They have little things to help you zoom in and see them, but I can't really use them. Oh, here's a victual mummy. So see this? It's a little coffin of a trussed goose. So you can see his head on the top, and then all his limbs have been cut off, and inside of this section would be an actual mummified goose that would be meant to be eaten in the afterlife. We had one of these at my university too, and my coworker, or my cohort, she did her thesis on that. 2 little jars. More jars. I'm trying to figure out which way I should go. I'm gonna go this way first. Actually, no, I'm gonna go see this piece first. Ooh, very fancy. Just 1 stone jar. I'm sure they're adding more stuff. Okay, I'll have to come back. Oh no, wait, I'm gonna go up here first. I don't want to miss anything. Oh wow, a pyramidion of an obelisk. Huh. Goddess Isis. Oh my god, it's these cups! I did a whole video on these cups. Nessie Kansu. I did a whole video on these cups because I found an artifact insight was a thank you. Unwrapped mummies are coming up. Pre-warning for everyone. I did a video, there's an artifact insight video of one of those cups on auction, and when I was looking at more information about it, I discovered that there's a shit ton of these cups at tons of different museums across the world, and it looks like, and they all are almost labeled exactly the same and are for this person called Nessie Kansu. And so Houston has obviously 2 of them. Oh, a slab for the 7 sacred oils. I don't know a lot about those. I've seen those before, but... Oh, wait. I wanted to look up... What does the Pyramidion say? Late period painted limestone, probably from Abydos. Okay. I'm gonna go to this thing, and then I'm gonna go in that room. Both Old Kingdom, probably. Oh, it's literally impossible. That says Old Kingdom. That says Dynasty 6, which is also Old Kingdom. Yeah, they're all blue because they're made out of that faience material is almost always blue colored. And blue to white to yellow-ish color. Yes, I've heard about that green coffin. Oh, I love this. This is a little image of probably the deceased person wrapped up like a mummy, and it would go on a boat model. But it's obviously been separated from his little cohort. So this is a decoration of a coffin. I love it. They used it to decorate the wall. Is it this coffin? Oh no, it's not this coffin. You got sandals. You got a little hedgehog. Oh, you got a hippo. It's so hard to see, but there's a little hippo with his legs chopped off. Oh, that's a very nice little statue. He's got a little cowhide on him. So these are all like different objects, and in the Middle Kingdom, a lot of them actually were just like placed on top of the coffin. And this is a stereotypical Middle Egyptian coffin. That looks familiar. It's a nice little stela again. Oh, that looks very familiar. That looks like, good night, Nat. Yes, a bronze mirror, which is like, you think that they're not going to be very good, to be a mirror, and you'd be right, because they're not. They're not good. They'd be polished, but they still wouldn't be great. It'd be good enough to be pretty much. These are an offering plate, so you can see that it's like a little cow, and these are supposed to be like loaves of bread. And you would pour water over it and usually say a spell, and that would help with giving offerings to your loved one. There's some more faience and some alabaster. Oh, this is cool. It's a Deir Medina tomb. Oh, I've been in this tomb. This is, I can't get to the name of it, but this is the Deir Medina tomb. This image here is depicting the field of reeds, and the deceased are over here, depicting working the fields, in the afterlife. Oh, that's a, yeah, this is a gazelle-headed underworld demon. I've seen some images of these before. They're pretty rare. It's called the, what's the field of reeds called? It's called the, I'm trying to remember what the... It's called the A'aru, which is the word for reeds. So the field of reeds is the Seket A'aru. A'aru. A-A-R-U, technically, is like sort of how you pronounce it. But yeah, that entire wall is like the most common version of like the A'aru. Because it has the river going through it. Lots of shop teas as per usual. Did my music stop? Oh, it did. Oh, it's because it restarted because we've been streaming for so long. Ooh, some linen. Oh yeah, so this is a great image of like all the things that would be put into a tomb. So they got a chair. They have... That's another chair. It's a folding chair. He's got some linen. He's got some sandals on his arm. She's got a bag. He's got a box. And he's got the list. So no, not always Fable. So the reed is the sound of I, but it does not mean that it means reed. Oh, my headset broke. My headset died. Oh god, I'm so loud. Knew that was gonna happen. Can you plug in? Okay. Can everyone still hear me? I gotta change this. Okay. Now you can hear the music. Alright. God, I'm so loud now. No, so the whole thing is that the symbol of a reed does not mean that that's the actual word for reed. It's just a monoliteral, which means it makes one sound, and that is the E sound. And so it's not that cut and dry, unfortunately. On the top of my head, I don't know what wine is. Bread is tea. Is te. It's just the T, which is easy. Beer is henket. I was trying to think of other words. It's a nice coffin. Okay, I guess I can't look at that section. Big banquet feast. Look at all these people. Look at all these people. All right. Big mummy room. Let's head back over here. Nice face of a coffin. Four sons of Horus. And some shop teas. As per usual. Oh, okay, never mind. So this coffin, it's hard to tell. This is a cartonnage. So this woman is completely wrapped by this sort of paper mache-esque stuff. And so I think there's a mirror down there to reflect. Okay, here's an unwrapped mummy. Oh, look, he's got red hair. This is the red-haired one that you were telling me about. And all the coffin fragments. I want to go to the other side. Let me see him. He's got a very interesting shroud, though. Decorated with these dots. And it looks like he may even have a little bit of a stubble. Yeah, I could tell. It's a Roman mummy. It's not that. Doesn't look like ones we normally see. Oh yeah, here's a little... So these are like the toe tags again. But then these are like little plaques that would get strapped to your chest too. That would tell you who the mummy was. It's a gilded mummified head by Ptolemaic and Roman. That's very interesting. I've never seen that before either. That's a pretty coffin. See the snake? Going up and down the whole thing. And this is just the mask and then cartonnage that would have laid on top of a mummy. That's in really good condition for the mummy not actually being there. Is it from this mummy? No, this has its own cartonnage. Whoa, what's over there? Is this the gift shop? It's a nice gift shop. Nice little offering table. Oh, is this supposed to be Tutankhamun? Yes, it is. This is Tutankhamun's shrine. This is the inside of Tutankhamun's shrine. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen the inside. That's really cool, actually. Oh. Brought from Thebes by Viscount Castragan. Gilded mask. That's so interesting. I love the case that they made to match it. It's very cool. From the late period. I love that piece. Yeah, you can tell it's not like the most like kind of accurate, but it looks really good. The thing I'm curious about is if this is what the inside of the shrine looks like or if this is the outside of the shrine, because I've seen the outside of the shrine before. Oh my god, it's Nefertari's tomb. Oh, that's so cool. Wait, that's like actually amazing. It looks really good. There's only a couple things about the face that make me like kind of cringe because they kind of look inaccurate, but it looks really, really good. I'm surprised there's no signs though. Is there an audio tour here? Oh, here we go. There's one sign. I kind of wish there were more signs describing what it is, but if there is an audio tour, I will excuse having no signs. Here she is playing Senate. I don't think she's really smiling in that image. Where was he? I missed him. With two snakes as a head? Do you mean that guy? Or no, this lady. These guys are demons because they have knives, so they're not necessarily like real gods. It's kind of weird to think about. The tours. That would be a bummer. But yeah, this room needs a little bit more context. If you look here, you can see... Ooh, no. Go back. It's hard to see, but... if you look here, you can see how this snake only has the red crown and this snake has the red and the white crown. And it tells you which one is north and which one is south. But I always forget which of the crowns is north and which of the crowns is south. But yeah, these things are demons because they have knives. So these are gates. These are like you're literally trying to get through all of the different gates as you go through. And so, thank you, Pope. I did kind of build this computer because I was always sad that my old computer couldn't take virtual tours like this. So this is not a demon. Sorry, it's hard to click in that area. These two are demons because they have knives. This is a god. this lady is a god, these two are demons. I'm blanking on who this is. It might be Nefertem. No, I don't think that's who it is. That is probably... I'm trying to look for her name in hieroglyphs. It's probably Hathor, but I can't find her. Sorry. It's an ad. White is north, red is south. Yeah, I always forget. I don't know why. It's just one of those tiny things that can't stick in my head. But sorry, if you guys didn't hear it, knives means demon, Ankh means goddess. So demons are only in the afterlife. And sometimes they have names, sometimes they don't. And the whole point is that essentially you had to, in the afterlife, you had to pass through these gates. And to pass through these gates, you had to know the names of these demons so that you can defeat them. I do not know why he's holding a branch. I don't know. I've never noticed that before. I just love this glyph of this guy upside down. But yeah, so demons hold knives and threaten you in the afterlife. They only live in the afterlife. All right, I think we are almost in the last room. It's a very squared off coffin. Isis and Nephthys on the back of this stela. More shopties. Always more shopties. Oh wait, is that it? Did we do everything? I think we did everything. Oh wait, I don't think we went... Oh no, we did go in that room. I think we did everything. Yeah, because that's that. Okay. All shopties, all the time. Absolutely. Alrighty, y'all. I'm exhausted. It's 12:09. We've been streaming for almost 5 hours. Okay, so turns out there will still be one more of these streams. It won't be next week, but it'll be the week after it, because I'm doing a lecture on the 7th, and so the next discussion stream will be a week after that. Probably a Saturday, but I will check. So we've done Smithsonian, we did Liverpool, and we did Houston. You're very welcome. So the ones we will hit up next time, so in 2 weeks, we will hit up the Harvard Museum of the Ancient Near East. There's only a select amount of ancient Egyptian stuff. And then the Rosicrucian Museum in California. And then we'll probably hit up the Geyer Anderson Museum and maybe even the Coptic Museum.